See it going up and down. There it goes. Okay, yes, we have our microphone. I was just making sure. Welcome to the Merry Boozers channel, guys. Coming to you from our brand new studio. I hope y'all are enjoying it. It's looking awesome. I mean, I have just been working my booty off this weekend. Unfortunately, we did not get to go to the Jolly Good Flying. We were getting ready for the hurricane. And I really here by herself for the hurricane if it were to come to us. Right now it's tracking to where it may not hit us at all. At least we were prepared. So tonight we do have a special guest. I'm going to go on and get him on the screen right off the bat here. Let's get into this and get into the interview tonight. Please welcome Rich Baker, the RC Informer, guys. RC Informer.
All right.
So welcome to the channel.
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah, I got you, man.
All right, cool, man. It's my first time, so I'm used to pushing buttons. So if I push something wrong and I disappear, you know,
Right.
see what happens. So, so what's going on?
Man, it's been a crazy couple of days. Like I said, I was expecting to be at the Jolly Good, as I know you were also. It stinks that we're not there flying and hanging out with all our buddies right now, but, you know, the hurricane is what it is, and that's how it's got to be tonight. So here we are. Hey, at least we still get to hang out with our RC buddies here on the internet. You know what I mean? Yeah,
no, it's good. It's it's at the we're at the epicenter of the hurricane here, and nothing's happening. And I was all ready to go. I had I had a hotel set up. I was getting done with a trip on Thursday, and but then a day or two before I heard about the hurricane, I was like, oh crap! I just booked a hotel room. I got a car. I was going to drive up there and all that stuff. But then, you know, they're saying, hey, something category 3 or 4 is just going to destroy Florida. So, and it was kind of heading for my house. So I was like, all right, well, obviously you guys did the same thing. So
yeah. So me and Rich don't live too far away from each other. We're about an hour away. And we were in the same boat. We were like, man, it's coming right at us, and it's a big one, so we ought to be here. And, you know, it's not even the fact of, because we're so far inland, I usually don't get a lot of damage from hurricanes, but gas gets to be, you know, I didn't want to go to Georgia and then not be able to get home either to Lori or anybody, so. Yeah, we just had to make that call, unfortunately. But by the look of the pictures and everything I've been seeing, the Jolly Good was a really good fly-in. It looked really nice.
The weather looked perfect. It's kind of funny too. I got a message from the captain that I was flying with over the week, and I told him about the air show because, you know, he's kind of into it a little bit, but he hasn't really done much of it. But he said, I think I'll go check that out. So he ended up going to the show, and he, I guess, bought a raffle ticket, and he won a Corsair, for crying out loud. So I should send you that picture. So he was pretty excited about that. It was kind of nice. So I sent somebody in my place anyway. So, anyway, is that a question?
That is a question for you. Rich, I got a question for you. I am looking for the F-14, just watched Top Gun, and I'm hooked. I'm only 15, though, LOL, and was wondering if it's okay, first big EDF, I go H-King, Sky Sword, and then the T-45.
Well, the question back is have you flown RC yet?
Right.
You know, if you've flown RC, then you can fly, you can take off and land, then you can kind of pretty much get what you want almost. But if you haven't, you really need to just get a trainer plane. Like the F-14 is a very easy plane to fly, and you'll be able to fly it. But you really need to fly something first. Get trained on something with an instructor. Just learn to fly a high-wing trainer, and then maybe progress to something a little bit more advanced, and then you can start getting into that stuff and fly whatever you want. Right. And you'll learn to fly pretty quick. It's not a process where you need to get a training plane and fly it for years before you can fly an F-14. Probably at age 14, you can probably learn to fly it in a few flights or maybe a week or two, just depending on your instructor. But the big key to it is if you haven't flown RC before,
F-14 would not be the first one I would recommend.
It wouldn't be.
It probably wouldn't be the second or the third I'd even recommend.
It depends on the individual skill and ability. It depends on how good somebody is at it. You know what I mean?
And it is funny. A lot of the kids these days pick it up really quickly. I guess it helps from video games. And everybody plays flight simulators and everything growing up now. So.
Oh yeah. Rule number one.
He's got 15 planes.
Oh, he does. So he flies then.
Yep.
Can you take off and land well when
Yeah.
you fly? What's the most advanced thing you have then? You have a Freewing F-16? Okay, so if he picked it up and he does real well, then yeah, you can get whatever you want and fly it. Yeah, the
Right.
F-14 is very easy to fly. It's a lot easier to fly than an F-16 is.
Yeah, that
It just
90 millimeter F-16 is a tricky one to fly.
Yeah. The F-14 is real simple to fly with the wings extended. It's a piece of cake. With the wings swept back, you just have to have You have to have a very low aileron rate and taileron rate, so the plane doesn't roll over. But it's an easy airplane to fly. The F-14 is it's like a big glider actually flying it around when the wings are extended. So almost anybody can fly that thing. So
got some other questions about your F-104. How's it coming along?
my Starfighter. Well, here it is, guys. I actually I haven't even put it together yet. Honestly, it's here. Let me see if I can switch.
All right.
Let me see if
We
I can
might lose
camera-
Rich for just a second as he's changing cameras, but hang on a second.
Change cameras here real quick without screwing this whole thing up.
Oh,
try
here we
that.
go. Dun, 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 dun. There he goes. He got it changed.
Give it a second. Is that the whole? There should be the panorama
Yeah.
there of the
Hang on a
webcam.
second. Lori's
So there I am.
resizing
Now
it.
I got to look at this camera.
There you go.
So, but yeah, here's the Starfighter, guys. I actually, it's not even glued together or screwed together or anything. Just like I said in the video, I slapped it together here, and just so I could kind of look at it and piecemeal it together and kind of just. Usually, I'll dry fit airplanes just to look at them and figure out where. And of course, I looked at it and I said, okay, eventually it's going to be an 8-cell airplane probably. So just because. I mean, it's a Starfighter. It's just insanely fast. It was a high altitude interceptor where it was all about higher, farther, and faster. So anyway, but yeah, it's a great model. Here, check it out. I put the gear up, and it's not even glued together. I just screwed it together. It's probably one of the nicest models I think that they make over at Freewing. Sebart had a hand in it. And if you guys watched, I just put out an unboxing video on it. So, check that out because that goes into the real intricate details. It has some of the nicest landing gear and nicest landing gear doors and everything, landing lights. And then the only issue I had with it was just the finish on the nose section. And I talk about that in the video, but I think that's just a one-off in this particular kit, the one that I got. It was just a little, you can see some of the gatoring and stuff on it, So, but yeah, it's super nice. I'm dying to fly it, so can't wait. I just got to get it screwed together and glued together and, trimmed and tuned and that kind of thing. So
Yeah, I have been super impressed with mine. So I actually have mine sitting behind me. Mine's 70 millimeter, and the finish on it is beautiful. I haven't actually done my unboxing yet of it. I was planning on doing it tonight, but with the new shop, I haven't had a chance to hang our overhead cameras and stuff, and I've been promising to get you on the show for a while, and I'm so glad that we finally did. It's so cool to finally have it, and that you're doing the F-104 and I'm doing the F-104 right now. It's awesome. There it is.
See, I'm pushing buttons. I'm 7 buttons like on the ceiling.
We're getting too fancy now.
No, it's cool. It's
So guys are asking where mine is. Mine's right here in the box, guys. I haven't put it together yet. I'm going to be doing an unboxing for you probably next week if I had to guess. But this week I wanted to focus on Rich being with us and hanging out. Coming to you live from Hurricane Dorian Central. Or it was going to be. I was afraid we wouldn't be able to go tonight because of the storm, but it ends up now it looks like it's got pushed back until it's not even going to start affecting us until a little later tonight. So
yeah.
It's a Cat 5 now, though.
Yeah, no, I know, but I think we're just going to get. It looks like we're going to get the outskirts
Right.
of it, and that'll be the end of it. So, the only thing that scared me is when I saw Jim Cantori. They sent Jim Cantori in, the Weather Channel guy. That's when you got to start.
Yeah, you're like, oh gosh, if he's coming, it's going to be bad.
That's when shit gets real. Is when they send Jim Cantori in, So, anyway, but it's. But oh well. I think we're just going to get like 70-mile-an-hour winds, maybe 100 or something, and that's probably about it. I don't think the Bahamas is going to be there because they just got trampled over. I think just now. So. But we'll kind of see what happens. I was trying to pull up a picture here real fast. Yeah, this is what. I don't know if this will even come out there.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bad. And
I mean, that's over the Bahamas now, and that's 185-mile-an-hour winds over the Bahamas.
huh.
So they're getting trashed right now. I don't know. We're probably not going to be vacationing there next year, you know. But yeah, that's what they were showing is 185 miles an hour. So yeah. But anyway, so yeah. So what do we got? What else are we doing here?
Well, guys, we're just kind of asking about the F-104. So just to go over it, guys, Rich has the 90 millimeter and I have the 70 millimeter. Lori almost fell over right then. Nobody got to see that except for me.
Oh man, we should have a camera. You need a camera over there.
Lori has a camera over there. We can get one turned on her right now too.
Yeah.
Come on, Lori,
but
show everybody your beautiful face.
It already.
Look at that. Ah! Yeah,
guys,
she about flipped over.
You guys look like you're on the bridge of the Enterprise.
Oh man, yeah. We have. If you could actually see it right now, I mean, we're really trying to do this up right. We were trying to get a really good shop set up here for us to film in, and just to talk about it for a minute, guys. If you haven't noticed, it's a little different tonight. It's a lot bigger. You can't physically tell, but I can actually do this now and not hit anything. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's good. Well, this is my first attempt at doing
the
this.
live show.
I haven't been on a live show, and I bought the webcam that Wes told me to get. So here I am. This is kind of like you guys maybe have seen the backdrop.
Hang on here.
Some of this.
It's still switching when you do that. Yours isn't instant like ours.
Still switching.
You just got a blue screen. Yeah.
How about now? Oh, you know what it is now? You know what it is? How about now? Is it coming in?
You
or
might have killed it. There it is.
There it is. Now, see, what it is on my
line.
end of it, when I put my cursor over the camera and I switch, I got to go back down there. There's a little check mark. I have to check. Otherwise, it doesn't go over. But
we're the learning channel here. Don't worry. These guys are used to us trying to figure out how to bring them this. You know, guys, it's hard. You never think that live streaming is going to be that hard, but to make a live stream that looks like this takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, I built a wall of fame back here with airplanes. I got to pull some of these down, but I put some boxes here because I got some reviews and stuff I got to get done. Like this is the FMS A10, the new one, and Tiger Cat's the most awesome plane out there, I think. So,
hey, Rich, for a second here, can you talk to the audience about some of the planes around you? I'm going to let you have full screen. I'm going to go try and fix our microphone. Maybe the jack we're using right now is bad. I'm going to go try and fix our microphone, though, because a lot of people are saying mine's cutting in and out.
Can I see any questions that these guys put up?
Yeah, we'll throw it up on the screen for you. Sorry, guys. I know y'all are saying we're having issues with our microphone again, and so what we're going to do is make Rich the full screen.
Actually, you are cutting out on me occasionally. Like I start saying something and I don't hear anything coming. So
okay, we're going to try and fix that real quick. Rich, you have the full screen right now, and we're going to go try and fix our microphone.
Okay. All right. You guys give me too much control. All right. Well, in the back, guys, I have, which I talked about, I think in one of the last videos I put out. I'll be some videos. I'll be doing some videos of the FMS Ranger here soon. I'm working on the nose wheel because I don't like the spring on it so much, but I got the FMS version 2 A10. I got to get rolling. I've got a new glider, the FMS 1000 millimeter. Mine was fine up until I let Lane. Hey, can you guys hear me okay? Anyway, I let Lane over at Lane's Planes fly here at CEF, and he destroyed it doing spot landing contests. So if Lane's watching, you wrecked my plane, but that's cool. And then I got this thing also from to show to everybody eventually here. This is the T-28 that Arrows Hobbies makes. Pretty nice plane. I'll be getting that one out here soon too. But the Starfighter is kind of what I'm focusing on now. And you guys almost back.
I have microphone up here.
Almost.
You guys get it? I think they're almost back. Let's see here.
All right, guys. I'm back.
I'm back. Oh, I see what happens when I put my thing. Sorry, I'm on a learning curve here, guys.
We all are. Don't worry.
I think I'm trying to learn how that thing works, but
there we go.
But anyway, I'm going to be concentrating on the Starfighter here pretty soon, and I've always loved Starfighters, especially since I was a kid, and I watched we all probably saw The Right Stuff, and watched when Chuck Yeager flew that at the end of it. But it was always such an awesome airplane. So, anyway, any questions up there? Oh, hey, you guys just dropped that thing.
Yeah, we'll bring it right back. Lori's fixing your camera. When you switch, it resizes it. Hopefully everybody can hear me now. It shouldn't be cutting out anymore. I did try and change microphone ports, so maybe that fixed it. I don't know what's going on there. There is a hurricane out right by us now, too, that's kind of maybe affecting stuff. So who knows? Who knows?
Does it show how many people are up on here? Because I'm reading all these messages, and they're going by so quick, it's hard to even...
It's hard sometimes, guys. Phone Boy does have another question here. Rich, the EDF I got are the 64mm F-105. Well, if he can fly that, he can probably fly the F-14.
Yeah.
Hobby King Sky Sword and 90mm T-45.
Okay. I got a battery.
Can fly those. If I can fly those, would I be okay? I could say he'd be okay. If he can fly those planes, I think he's going to be okay.
As long as you can confidently take off and land on your own and you feel comfortable with it, you do that routinely. As long as you can do that with really almost any plane and you feel comfortable doing that, then you can go on to the next airplane.
Yeah. Chris Jackson, we've been watching Rich fly like he stole it for years. That's the truth. I've seen him fly in person, and Rich will tear up the sky when he's flying.
Just trying to have fun, man. It's like it's kind of like when you fly for a living, everything is just a very calm, standard rate turn, and you can't do... So when you have passengers, you can't do all that stuff. So it's kind of like when you get out there and you're flying a model plane, you don't really have, obviously, too many limitations. You can kind of just do what... Here, somebody's asking something up here. Can you scroll up and read my last question, somebody said. I can't... It's tough to keep up with this stuff.
Yeah. I'll call them out to you, Rich. It's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
Lori highlights them for us. We can't answer everybody's question, guys. There's a lot of you in here tonight, and we try as best we can. Right. I have a question to Rich. I've noticed the bigger and wider EDF jets or planes you guys fly.
Right.
Do you guys find smaller and narrower planes hard to fly, or are you guys into speed and realism? That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
The size of the fuselage doesn't matter as much on the speed. It's more about the power system that's in it to me. Not to get me wrong. I mean, a slender, narrow F-104 is going to be faster to me. But
what was the question again? Where was it?
Do you notice a bigger and wider fuselage EDF jet? Wait, hang on. I'm trying to figure out how he worded it. Tucker Drive was the one that did this. Hi, I have a question to Rich. I noticed the bigger and wider EDF jets or planes you guys fly. You guys find smaller and narrower planes harder to fly. And do you like speed over realism?
Well, yeah, that's kind of... I think I know what you're asking. Smaller airplanes are usually, not always, but often like more difficult to fly than something that's larger. So if you're flying something bigger, it tends to have a little more stability. I don't know if this is what he's asking me, but when you have something bigger, like let's say you're flying like a trying to think of an example, like a Stinger 90 or something like that, which is a larger... Well, it's not that large, but it's a large enough jet. It's a 90mm jet. Or something like a Taft Valkyrie 90mm. Those planes tend to be a lot more stable than if you're flying something little, like one of those 64mm things. I haven't flown one of those that Motion's making, but I hear they can be a little bit of a handful because they're so tiny. When you have something bigger and it's got more mass, the wind doesn't knock it around so much, and it tends to be a little more stable. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's what he's asking, but right. I like kind of a combination of both. I mean, I really like to have the realism of an airplane. And what I mean by that is, like, I'm not a real big, hand toss belly launch kind of guy. I mean, there's some that fly great and they're fun to fly, but I like to have a plane that has landing gear, taxi out, get lined up for takeoff, take off down the runway, fly around, put the landing gear down, land and taxi back in. I like to operate the plane like it was a real
I understand completely.
That's my thing. I mean, I remember many years back. I think FMS came out with a what was it? It was a Scorpion. It was I think it was a 70 millimeter Scorpion. It was a hand launch deal. It was 4-cell powered, I think. And I was like, geez, a hand launch thing or whatever. And I was like, man, this is going to be like really challenging to fly. But and it had a nice little hand rail underneath the belly to grab and throw. And I threw it, and it flew rock solid. That plane was tremendously fun to fly. It would glide tremendously well. Didn't have any stabilizer in it or anything. But that little 70 millimeter was a beautiful flying plane. So it kind of depends on the platform of the plane too. If you're flying something like that whoever designed it, the stability of it is really good, even though it's a small airplane. In fact, I think I still have it. It's a great hand launch airplane. And I like the speed of it, but I do like to have a fast airplane. I don't like to find something that's particularly slow. But for me, as long as it's like a moderate maybe to fast, but I like the realism of, like, for example, you'll have guys going out there with just full bore, full speed, everything, just you hand launch it, and it goes zooming across the sky at 140 an hour, and then they come in, it's like a Hail Mary landing it, and then they land it. I mean, that's cool because it's fast, but it's just not my genre. That's all. It's nice. I mean, if you like that kind of thing, do it. That's a nice thing about RC, is there's so many facets to it that you can get into whatever area of it you want. So, but I prefer realistic stuff that's kind of, that's kind of mid to larger size. Just like to have a little bit of a sizable model. But anyway. But I fly everything. I'll fly everything.
So,
pretty much.
Rich, we've got another question from Michael Raja.
Yeah.
The 1450 millimeter or the 1700 millimeter red tail Mustang? He said he's been watching your videos and can't decide.
Well, I mean, they're both awesome airplanes. It just depends. If I had a personal preference and I had to pick just one of them, I would go with the 1700 because I just like. In this case, here's an example of what I was just saying. I like to have a bigger model. Mm-hmm. It's a little more stable in the wind and stuff, and it flies to me a little bit more scale. So yeah, I mean, I prefer the bigger one. In fact, I have all my originals. In fact, if you guys ever go back or look on my YouTube channel, and I've got videos of the red tail 1700 millimeter Mustang. I still have that airplane, and I still fly.
I got a chance to see you fly it at Joe Knoll, actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
same plane.
I've got the 1450 Mustang, the gunfighter version. No, what's it called? It's the green and yellow one. Old Frankie. Furious Frankie. There we go.
Oh, Ferocious Frankie.
There we go. I figured it out eventually. I got one. That's all that matters.
Yeah. and I have that one too with the yellow nose or whatever. And but the cool thing about the red one though is the ones I made the videos of years ago. I still have that plane. Is I actually took it to the Tuskegee Airmen were in town.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard Roscoe Brown was going to be there. This was like 5 years ago, like right after I did the videos. And so I made a couple calls, found out. I said, hey, I can bring a couple planes. And they said, yeah, come on down. So I brought some planes, displayed them, and sure enough, Roscoe Brown walks in. He was one of the few guys who was not in a wheelchair, because those guys are getting kind of old. So, but I said, hey, Roscoe, I got a plane with your name on it. And sure, his name's on the side of it, because it was Roscoe Brown's, he was the Tuskegee Airman that flew it. So, but we got pictures. He signed the tail and everything. And so it was pretty awesome. So he's actually touched that airplane. He signed it. I actually had and I asked the factory, I said, can you guys send me another tail? Because I don't want you to fly with that tail on. So I pulled the tail off. It was on the elevator. So I have his signature on it. I still fly it. I just don't fly with that tail on it with his signature.
Right. No, that'll be a good piece to keep. I could even see framing that up with a picture of a red tail and putting that on the wall kind of thing.
He signed, Roscoe Brown, 100 Fighter Squadron, whatever. It was pretty cool. And then they said, hey, come on in with us, guys. We're going to have luncheon. So we got to all sit in with the Tuskegee Airmen and have lunch and stuff. So I just volunteered to go, just because they didn't have any airplanes there. There were no models of airplanes or anything there. So it turned out to be pretty good. But anyway, to answer his question, the 1700s are awesome. I mean, FMS has always made the 1700s. they're just a little bit dated at this point. You know what I mean? A little, and I think they're redoing.
Right, I've heard rumors of them redoing the 1700s, and I'd be all over that. It's kind of like Carbon Z. I wish they'd come out with some new Carbon Z Warbirds. The T-28 is one that I know many people have loved and lost and want another one, and it's not available right now. We have another question. Rich, is there a model that has similar flight characteristics as the F-14 with the sweeping wings in and out? I can't think of one. I think that's the only model that I can think of that does that. Nobody's done a B-1 or anything like that.
Well, he's talking about similar flight characteristics without a swept, with the wings. Wait a minute, with the wings swept down. I hadn't flown it yet, but I would think it would probably be, if you're looking for
like a Mirage, maybe something that's a Delta.
Actually, I was thinking about an F-18.
Really?
Like the 90-meter one that Motion has. I haven't flown it yet. I was supposed to fly it all weekend. James was going to let me.
I have one, and I got to fly James's at Joe Nall, and man, that plane is really docile, surprisingly. I mean, it's still a jet. Don't get me wrong, but it's a puppy dog. I mean, it's a very easy airplane to fly, and I think you're going to be very impressed with it. And the speed of that airplane surprised me. I mean, it's very fast for what it is.
Right. Yeah, that's for something like the F-14. It's super easy to fly. And in fact, I tell people, hey, if that's a plane you like, and I think most people are afraid of it because of the swing wing.
Right.
But
leave the wings
honestly,
out.
If you buy one and you extend the wings and go fly it, and then just, if you sweep the wings back just to put it in your car, it's still worth getting, because it's just a fun airplane to fly. It flies great with the wings out. Sweeping the wings back, like I say, you just got to make sure that the aileron rate is very, very low, or you program them out, because it just gets a little, kind of dicey, a little squirrely if you roll too much while it's with the wing swept, just because the way that they designed it with the ailerons are moving with the stabilators together. It's not really supposed to do that, but it flies okay if you fly it that way. But I tell people, if you want an F-14 and you want to fly it, and you're a little worried about the swept wing part, just don't sweep the wings. Just leave the wings extended, get it, go fly it, have fun with it, fly it around, because you can't take the airplane apart to transport it. It's too big of a machine, so you have to sweep the wings to transport it. But if nothing else, I mean, it's just a fun airplane to fly with the wings extended. So it's awesome. In fact, it maneuvers fantastic extended with the wings extended. It's just awesome.
And you put out a video today on the F-14, am I correct?
Yeah, I put out a video today, which I have been working on for a long time, and work has kept me from putting it out. I should have put it out a long time ago, but I've been so busy. And what it is it's a pretty detailed, like how to make the landing gear on the airplane stronger. The landing gear itself, the struts, are really strong on that airplane, and the airframe is awesome. It's a strong airframe. It's just that, to me, the mounts, the way that the landing gear mounts, the main mounts, the nose mounts, the mountings are just not really suitable for grass. I mean, they're okay on pavement. You won't have any problem taking off and landing. It's just that the mountings don't have enough, like the plastic doublers or the plastic mounts. They just don't have enough meat in them, to distribute the load and the foam. So if you have a hard landing, which I had one, and I showed it in the video, I misjudged the landing, and I hit hard, and the plane bounced, and it kind of nosed over and hit the nose, and it took the nose strut out, but it slid on the pavement, and it didn't roll over or anything. But after that landing, I realized that, I don't know if I'd want to fly this on grass too much, because all that load of the grass would just keep tearing those things up. So anyway, the video I put out today is showing you how I remade the lower wing platters to extend beyond or behind so they support the main gear. So now the main gear can do its job. The main gear was not the fuselage was taking the load, not the gear. Now the mounts are stabilized, now the landing gear can take the load. And on the front gear, I put a strap on there. And if you guys watch the video, it's kind of lengthy. I mean, it was like an hour-long video.
Do you have a flight video up? We were going to actually pull it and maybe tease it a little bit for you and let it play for a minute.
I've got at least 3 or 4 flight demos.
Was the one today a flight or a repair video?
It was a repair, but it was what was it? It was an upgrade video.
An upgrade video, okay.
It's how to upgrade the landing gear, make the landing gear mounts tougher. So if you want to fly that F-14 on grass every day, you can do it with that. Without doing that, it's a little hard on the landing gear mounts. You know what I mean? The struts are tough. So so anyway, I made those changes hoping, because I wanted to take it to Seth and Joe Nall and places where there's grass.
Be the first one.
So I went ahead and I did that modification to my plane, and it's freaking awesome. I mean, I actually talked with Alpha about, maybe in the future, if they, put out a version 2, it'd be nice to maybe improve those mounts on a version 2 later. But it's expensive to retool an airplane. You know what I mean?
Right.
It costs a bit to retool stuff. So, if this is what I put up today, it looks like what I put up today.
Yeah,
this just shows.
We're gonna get it loaded up and get it on the screen here, and then we'll
like I said,
play it from it.
It's 50 minutes. So,
we'll play just a few minutes of it just to kind of tease it to the guys.
The first 2 minutes of it is just takeoffs and landings on grass.
Cool.
So people can see it doing that, and then I show a bunch of that at the end.
So I can judge you on your landings here.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And if you go in like 2 minutes beyond that, you can see the fender bender wreck there. So maybe you can pull that up too. That's
they should still be able to hear us talking. We're going to put it on the main screen now, guys, and just let it play for a minute. And if you have anything you want to add to it as it's going here, we'll just play it for a minute or so here.
I'll just take these out.
Oh, okay. Can you get rid of that ad? Right. I've got to fly an F-14. I still haven't had a chance to yet. I mean, it's just one of my dream planes. I'll get there. I'm going down my list of dream planes right now is the funny thing. I've got so many dream planes nowadays that, you never know what your actual dream plane is anymore. After you get to a certain point, you're like, it always, it's like that Storch that I built. That's a dream plane, and I've got it now. And then, well, what's the next dream plane? Right. You can probably cut it back to us now.
Kind of favorite airplanes are the Tiger Cat, the Tomcat, the Starfighter, and a P-40 Warhawk. Those are like among my favorites.
Yeah, I will say a bucket list plane for me forever has always been the F-104. And I wanted the big one, but I couldn't do it right now with the money wise, so I went with the smaller one. Hey, the smaller ones are good, and I've heard a lot of people say the smaller one flies great, so we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, the Starfighter was always known to be, the real one, to be like the hottest plane in the sky. In the military, I mean, it was like the hottest fighter. I mean, you wouldn't dogfight with it, but it was a Mach 2, interceptor. It was just meant to intercept something fast and shoot at it, but that's why it has such a tiny wing on it. So, in fact, that video I just put out like two days ago, I think. I show the wing on that airplane. I don't know if you know about the F-104, the Starfighter. It just has a razor wing. I mean, it doesn't have any, and the only way they can make a camber out of it is by drooping the leading edge and then drooping the trailing edge, and then that makes a curved, like a bird's wing type surface. So they're basically geometrically pseudo kind of making a curved surface. So because it's slow speed, like I don't think you could even land that plane. I think probably without the leading edge. It has a leading edge flap and a leading edge flap and a trailing.
Yeah.
No, not a slat. The leading edge is a flap and the trailing edge is a flap. It's in that video. You can kind of see it. But when you don't, and usually when you see them flying at air shows, both of them are down because it probably wouldn't even fly at that speed, wings straight out. But our Starfighter, the one that, let me see if I can maneuver my.
Oh, yep. Oh, you hit your microphone, Rich. We can't hear you. I think you might have unplugged it or something.
Still connected. It's not showing here. Hang on. Let's see.
We'll fix it here in a second. Oh,
Hang on.
maybe.
It's showing. It's
Technology, science.
How about now?
Yeah,
How about now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
That's good.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing you. Well, anyway, the leading edge of this Starfighter, this 90 millimeter, and probably the one you have, it has a round,
Right.
a blunt leading edge, more of a traditional
Mhm.
airfoil. They did that because the other one wouldn't probably even fly, with what we're doing with it, so at the speeds and altitudes we fly at. So they had to kind of cheat, with the model of the Starfighter because we're probably going to not go faster than 100 miles an
Right.
hour, So,
No, and from what I've heard, this one actually slows down really well, surprisingly.
yeah.
A lot of guys that
There's
have been flying them have told me it actually flies and slows down surprisingly well, and not to be scared of this airplane.
Oh yeah, there's a guy on YouTube, Buddy65 or Buddy something or anyway, he's got a lot. If you put in free wing F-104 Starfighter, he's got a lot of videos. He's down in Fort Lauderdale, Markham Park. He flies. His plane flies great. It looks like it. It looks like it lands at pretty much a normal.
I think we have a guy that's in here every week too. I think his name's Victor Shamulis that has a bunch of the F-104s also. I think he has 3 or 4 of them. He loves them, and he's putting videos up of them all the time too.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully I'll put up a bunch of videos, and then I might go 8 cell.
Yeah, see if you can get a little more speed out of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's for, That's what it was meant to do. So, yeah, I might. But it just depends. I mean, maybe it's good enough stock. And I think they upped the KV motor on the stock plane a little bit from the original.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
And it's funny, I actually have a E-flite 70 millimeter in-runner setup that I've thought about throwing into mine after I do my initial flights just to see.
Okay.
I know how good that E-flite F-16 flew. And I've flown them both. It seems like the free wings had a little more punch as far as speed, but as far as just actual punch out, it feels like that in-runner's a little faster to me as far as the actual taking up and leaving. There you go.
Right.
Got you switched over to the other screen.
Yeah, if you can see it here, you can see how fat this leading edge is. It's just nice. And that's not
Make
how
them bigger, Lori.
It was real thin, but it's nice. It's nice and fat up here, which is good because that's what we want. For it just looks a little funny on the airplane because it's kind of thick, and that's not how the full-scale Starfighter is. But all that stuff is in that video. That video that I just put out about the unboxing. I talk about the wing a little bit in there, but anyway. So what's up?
I see. Also, you've got the Ranger there now. I know that Ryan had one a while back, and he really was enjoying the Ranger, and that's one that I'd actually like to get too. It's funny, guys. I can talk about flying an F-104, but I still enjoy the high wing, slower, easier going planes. And then the nose gear on that thing is crazy. I know it's not on there right now because you've got the floats on it, but
I actually got it in my hand. Here, let me switch the camera.
Here. Yeah, okay. Hold on, everybody. We're going to switch cameras real quick.
Switch my camera again. Is that okay? Does that?
No, you're good. Switch it over. I think you've got the airplane behind you anyway. Yeah, you do. So that'll work out good.
And this is the nose gear on it, and it looks really cool because it flexes and everything.
Look at that giant spring. I haven't seen one up close yet, so it's kind of cool to see it like this.
I don't know if anybody else is having this problem with it or not. I hadn't flown the airplane. I still haven't flown it yet, but the problem I was having with it, at least initially, as I was setting up the landing gear, setting up, getting it neutral, so I could turn it left and right, with the servo, because it's got an arm up here. Problem I was having with it is every time I would adjust it for center and I'd turn it or whatever, and I'd move it around, the gear would stay turned. The nose strut would stay turned, or it would stay turned the other way. See how it stands that way? And the problem I was having is it seems like, and I don't know if people are having this problem or not, but the spring see if I can do
if it spins in it?
It turns on itself. So as I messed with it and I was pulling on it, the spring came out. I don't think it has anything to do with the glue that this thing is on, but it when you turn it, it springs kind of slide on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I really can't get it to center.
Hmm.
So I don't know if anybody else is having that problem, but it was causing me all kinds of issues. So, and I hadn't really messed with it. I haven't gotten it going yet. Like I said, I just put it together and I was getting ready to go fly it and stuff. But I was going to replace the spring with like just a carbon fiber tube and forget about the springiness because I can't get it to center.
Right. It's a good looking model. I mean, I don't know about it either because I haven't actually had one. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, Jesus. Came out of nowhere. It's a good looking plane, though. The paint job on it's great.
Yeah, it's, well, I mean, just looking at it, I mean, it's a Cessna 152.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's definitely a Cessna.
And they use these floats.
Are they off the Cub?
They're off the Cub. They're the same ones that are on the Super Cub, the small J3 Cub, the same one that's on the what's the other one? The Super Easy Trainer. But they're all really good floats. There's one of them. This one has a water rudder on it, but one of them like doesn't have a water rudder. So.
And a lot of guys will run them that way with one rudder and not the other side.
Well, no, but I mean like no water rudder. I think one of them doesn't even have a water. But essentially they're the same floats.
Right.
They're the same mold.
Oh, I got you.
And they're of the gear, like the front and the back. Some are more like this or like that. It just depends on the model. Because some of them, the mounting spots are closer or farther apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, but otherwise the floats are the same floats, and I mean they use these on the 1700 millimeter Super Cub.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a good looking model. I really like the paint job. I like the look of it, and a Cessna is usually a great flying airplane. Yeah, guys, take a look at that.
It's cool, man. The only thing I thought was kind of goofy though was this part right here.
Yeah, Laurie's gonna make you bigger real quick for everybody.
It was just this.
There you go.
The way the hatch opened, it was just kind of goofy looking, but it works. I mean, you get in there and it's just kind of weird how they separated the cockpit kind of right in the middle, which was weird. You would have thought they would have put it down there, but I mean, you can get in there really well. And then the wing is just all you do is you let's see, you take this thing and you just unsnap the strut.
Oh, that's nice.
And you turn. This is like the old school where you used to put 2 wing bolts up top. Well, these are just quarter turn bolts, and then the whole wing comes out.
FMS has been blowing me away lately with their quick release wings and stuff. I mean, that Fox Glider's the same way. That giant airplane,
right.
It just snaps together.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're making it so easy on us with bullet connectors like the P-47. I love my
right.
1500 millimeter P-47. They I love that plane, and they did the bullet connectors on the wings for that, so you just slide them in and you're done. Dave's RC, thank you, man. I see it. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Oh, what's that?
He gave us money.
Oh, sweet.
It's a donation. It's a donation to the channel.
Yeah,
thank you, sir. We appreciate it very much.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, shoot, my desk is going crazy. Hang on. I got a... Here, I was going to show you my new...
yeah. Okay, hang on. We'll switch back to full screen for us real quick while you're changing.
Because then we'd lose this thing.
Right. He wants to tell us about his new desk. It's pretty cool. What is it?
Yeah,
it's the motorized one here.
Yeah, I now have a lift out. So, and the reason I got this is because I'm always working on models. I'm bending over stuff. But
here, make him bigger, Laurie, so we can talk about it.
You can set this at any height.
Hang on, we're making you bigger real quick. Hang on a second.
You see now I can bring the airplane up to my height. It's kind of like almost like a dentist chair or a lift for a car. So I can bring the thing all the way up now, which is nice, and I can work on it at eye height without bending over and stuff. So, and you can set it at any height, but it allows me to get the airplane up and down, without having to.
Dude, that is so cool.
Yeah, it's neat. So, and I got a little drawer and stuff, but.
Laura, I need one of those.
But anyway. But back to what you were saying about FMS, though, is that, for like the last 5-6 years, probably up until the last year or two, mostly, I was doing all the early kind of testing and sample flying of their planes and stuff and sort of solving problems and fixing things. And one of the things I told them in the beginning I said, the easiest that you can make this plane out of the box for the customer. The faster you can, without having to do a bunch of work and fixing things and, fixing things that should have been done right, or less work, the faster out of the box, the better. And lately, over the last year or two, I've been kind of blown away because they really took that, like all the linkages are now on the airplanes and stuff, and you can literally, this bolted together in no time at all. So
right, and all the manufacturers.
What's that now? You cut out your
sorry.
microphone. That's all right.
It's blowing me away how easy these airplanes are going together nowadays. Like I took that Freewing P-51 over there, two screws to put the airplane together, put the spinner on, and I was ready to fly. Well, I had to glue the tail on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Glue the two pieces on. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable because a lot of the FMS planes, and like you said, especially this glider. I mean,
snap it together and go.
It's not only glueless, but it's screwless. You don't need to put any screws in. You just snap it and go. So, but anyway, A-10's pretty much the same way. I mean, you glue on, I think, one or two cosmetic antennas or something. Actually, maybe not even that. Like the tail, actually, I think they all snap on, actually. Yeah, I don't think there's really any gluing on that at all. If anything, it's just, I know what it is. It's the little pave penny pod, that little laser pod that sticks out of the bottom. That you glue on. But I actually made mine magnetic, so I just kind of comes on off. But the rest of it, it all just goes together. So, anyway.
So, we did have a question. Where did you get the desk from? What's the brand of it?
Oh, I don't know the brand. It's I got it over at Costco.
Costco.
Get everything at Costco. Yeah, site of the alien invasion there.
Can we ask what lifting desk cost?
I think it was like, if I'm not mistaken, it was like $300.
That's not terrible for a desk.
Yeah, no, not at all, not at all. And it's got a nice sliding drawer, and I put sliders on it, so I can slide it around and move it wherever I want. Sorry, I turned my camera off.
Oh,
I got to get used to this. So I'll put it back on here.
There we go. It's okay.
So I got to get used to it. See, man, I got all these buttons up here. Well, you see, the thing is, I can slide it around too. I can move it around.
Hang on, you're not screening right now. We don't see you.
I'm not screening.
We don't see your Skype call right now.
Hang on. There we go. Hang on, it's coming in now.
We lost you again. There it is. Hey, he's back.
It'll come in. So yeah, you can slide it around. I just put sliders on it. It's kind of a heavy desk, but it slides real easy.
No, I'm dead serious. I kind of want to know where you got it. I kind of want one.
Yeah, so. Costco. But also check at Amazon. They have them too. Just look for electric. The instructions.
It's like one of those Vera desks or any of the other ones where they go up
like that. But it's not that brand. It was a different brand. I just don't have.
No, it's cool. I like it, and I mean that makes a ton of sense to where you can move the. When we were down at the show level, we could down here, and when we're up working on something, lift it up and stand up at it. I mean that's awesome.
Because I'm always killing my back, when I'm leaning over stuff, So anytime I can get under an airplane, and not be bending my back over, because I'm constantly working on stuff all the time. So anyway, yeah, it works out pretty nice. So, but yeah, there we go. So that's it, man. That's my desk. So, and it's got USB. I have a USB desk. Look, see?
Look at that. It's too fancy now. I like that. You got your batteries up in one corner. Oh, look, there's a cat on the table now. Hi.
Where's that? Oh, I thought you were talking about mine. Mine's running around here probably somewhere too.
What are you doing, cat? Are you coming to see everybody?
That's pretty funny.
Well, he don't mind him. He comes to hang out every once in a while.
Hey, how many people do you guys have in
the show right now? Lori, how many's in here right now?
How many you guys have online?
We got 53 on right now. I don't know what our peak was. It's been bouncing around tonight. And it's good.
Drop the link for the desk. I know it's at Costco.
We'll have to find the desk, guys, and we'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
It's too cool. I got to look for one. I mean, I like that a lot. What are you doing, Kat?
I just can't think of the name of it. It's probably printed on it somewhere, but oh well. Anyway,
well, you can't come and show us all these cool toys and not tell us where you got them from.
Yeah.
You knew everybody'd want one.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored by the desk maker, so
Right, yeah. Right. Yeah, that's probably about a decimal.
Uh,
But anyway,
yeah, it's
so
cool.
what else? Anything coming up?
So I'm going to Joe Knoll at the end of the month. Are you going to be at Joe Knoll this year? Or well, I should say Fall Knoll. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm planning on being there. Hopefully, Amy's going to come too. I hope so. She came to the last one and she loved it. She had a good
I
time.
got to meet Amy at the at Joe Knoll, not at Fall Knoll, but
That's right. Amy's the official RC Informer fly girl, so she's my girlfriend, and so if you guys see her posing in the picture, she likes doing that kind of thing. So, anyway, yeah, you guys have probably seen a few of those. So she looks good there. Oh, my cat just came.
oh
in.
look, there's Rich's cat. Look, we're gonna
There he
talk
is.
cats
Hey,
tonight, guys.
This is Jake. Hey, buddy. What's up, buddy? So he kind of roams the house, so he's checking things
You
out.
know, it's kind of cool though. I mean, a lot of these guys don't get to see you other than in the edited videos and stuff. And that's the fun point of the live show is something I wanted
yeah.
is for guys to be able to get to see you not scripted. Get to just talk to us.
Oh yeah.
And if guys
Well-
have questions, we can ask them and answer them right now. It's great. And we are looking at the questions, guys. If y'all put any up, so
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, the thing is my videos have evolved over the years, and it started off like real regimented, and it was meant to provide information. In fact, my channel, the reason for RC Informer, there are a lot of reasons why I started it, but the real reason I started it was I was actually tired of kind of hearing only a sales pitch and only, buy it now or
yep.
or where I wanted to provide some information. I do promote. I mean, in the videos I show off the airplanes and stuff, but there are planes that I won't show because they're not that great. So if you see it on my channel, most of the time, I mean, for the most part, it's only a plane I would fly or keep or buy.
Right.
You know what I mean? I try to. There's a lot of people that sometimes want to send you stuff and just say, hey, can you do this? I'm like, and you fly it if it's good and you could recommend it to somebody, then then it's all right. But there have been some planes that folks have sent me or wanted to send me, and I'm like, I just can't really endorse that. It's just something you're trying to sell a million of, and I don't really want to go down that thing. It's not something I would buy or fly. So the stuff you see on my channel, the intent of RC Informer initially was actually to make the hobby better, just to enhance and give out a lot of information, so people can kind of learn how to do things, how to set things up. Because I've been doing it for a long time, and it was meant to get away from, because the guy that started all this stuff was, if you guys remember Pete at Banana
Yep.
Hobby,
Oh, yeah.
Remember him? Yeah, and he's a great flyer, man. He was awesome. It's just that at that point in time, the quality of the airplanes was like not that great. And he would go out and fly them, and they looked like magic, And then I don't know if you ever ordered stuff from Banana Hobby.
I've had run-ins with it, and I do not endorse buying airplanes from Banana Hobbies either.
And they're nice people over there, and I've promoted some of their planes because I like some of them, and I still have some of them. But problem is back then the quality of the airplane was not that good, and so you would get the airplane and you have to do all this stuff to it. You'd have to change a lot of servos or redesign something or whatever. And so when you would get the plane, it was kind of like it wasn't as good as it was. So I saw the potential of foam models, and I said to myself, you know what? I don't want to falsely advertise or promote something for anybody, or I don't want to show it on the channel and say, hey, it's great, when it's kind of not. So I always tried to put, and years ago, the quality wasn't that great. Now the quality is really good, so it's kind of easy to just show something off. But back then, my videos were very kind of long-winded, and they were assembly and building and modifying and adjusting because you had to do all that stuff to get the plane to fly well. So I could easily show somebody the airplane flying and say, hey, look how great this thing flies. It flies fantastic. It doesn't, but this is what I did to it. I had to change this. I had to redesign this. I had to do. So my old videos were intended really for, to be perfectly honest, to help the customers get the plane flying, but also so manufacturers would look at that and say,
We should be fixing that and not even have that
need to be
issue.
doing that better. Yeah. So I was trying to do a lot of things. I was trying to help out, the people who were buying them, who really needed some help, couldn't figure out why I wasn't flying, because I'm usually good at tinkering and figuring stuff out and solving problems. That's kind of what I do with that kind of thing. And I would make them fly fantastic and show people, how did I do it? What did I have to do? And then a lot of manufacturers caught wind of that, and they started contacting me. Hey, can you do this? Can you do this? I said, yeah, but I don't want to just sell junk. I don't want to sell stuff I don't want to help you promote an airplane that is crappy. So if it's got problems, we gotta fix them. And FMS was cool about that. FMS was like, man, you're showing us stuff that we didn't like. I sent FMS a lot of videos, and the Motion guys too in the beginning, like with their F-18 and some other stuff, like the Strega P-51 and all that. Like, I would send FMS some really detailed videos and pictures that the general public never saw, and it was R&D stuff, and it was a lot of real in-depth, like, hey, this spinner is all out of whack, these parts don't even fit, this doesn't even. They're like, wow, we didn't even know that's kind of what was going on, because sometimes, when they design an airplane, something gets lost in the mold process and then the assembly process, and by the time it's done, any little problem was a big problem down the road. Right. And I think the Chinese mentality always was, it's got to be cheap, just put it out, and then they finally realized, oh, wait a minute, there is a level of quality that has to, these planes have to have a certain amount of quality, because they got to fly.
Yeah, if they don't fly, ain't nobody going to buy them. You get the first batch bad, and then it builds a bad reputation.
And I'd say 5-6 years ago, when I first started doing this with FMS, I told them, I said, we got to get the quality up. I mean, it's really good. I think your quality is good, but it needs to be like a lot better. And of course, it's gotten there. They started to realize, there were a couple videos I put out. Like, I put out one video on, I think it was HSD Super Viper. You know that plane? It's 105 millimeter.
I unboxed one a few weeks ago on here. I've got the brand new one.
That plane is awesome. I love the thing, but initially the spars didn't fit. The tail didn't even have a spar, and I flew, and it flew okay, but it was like rubbery and all. So I put in, and the video's still up there, I put in a spar. I mounted one back in there. I drilled holes through the foam and put a carbon spar back there to stiffen the tail up. I went and flew it. It flew fantastic. And of course, the next batch that came out, they had completely redesigned the tail to the letter, except they used an aluminum spar instead of carbon. But I never got an email or message from them saying, hey, thanks for doing that, whatever. But they copied it. I mean, they literally just copied the design. But that's okay, I guess. I mean, again, the idea of RC Informer was to take the level of quality of models from here and bring it up here, and kind of leave no stone unturned. So every time I get a model from someplace, I usually go through it with a fine-tooth comb, especially years ago. Nowadays, you don't have to do it so much because the quality's so good, but I would literally tear that model down, and I would send, 24 problems that I had with it, and they would fix them. Sometimes FMS would actually change the mold. Like, I redid something, and they would say, don't even show that one. We're going to remold and send it. They'd send me another one, and I go, oh, wow, they actually changed the mold after something that I showed them, So, and it was nice to have places like FMS that would look at stuff like that and realize that, oh yeah, we got to make some quality of this. So, and then secondly, or thirdly, I guess I kind of wanted to have, you ever watch Star Trek? Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he always said, well, I created Star Trek so I could comment on man and society. That was his his thing. He goes, that was his venue to comment. So, and they had all kinds of racial issues and all kinds of stuff on there that was masked in the future so he could get away with it. And so RC Informer, because I've been building planes so long, and I actually started with helicopters. I was a helicopter guy before I got into model planes, but I wanted to be able to kind of, it seemed like a lot of, in the beginning when I started with models, it was trial and error, but I got better and better at it, and I kind of wanted to sort of give back to the hobby because I've gotten a lot out of it. It's been a good thing for me. As a kid, it kept me off the streets, So I wanted to show people how to make things work properly, or at least how I do it, and then people can get ideas from it and stuff. Because especially way back in the early days, I'm sure you probably scratch build kits, right? Or build kits. Anyway.
Well, I was around it. I didn't do a lot of the building. Papa Boozer did a lot of the building back then. I'm getting into it now. We are going to be doing a scratch build here pretty soon.
Okay.
But I'm still learning it. But yes, when I started in the hobby, there was a lot of scratch building, and ARFs were just becoming available. So.
Right. Okay. And I used to build. I remember in the old days, you'd get a box of wood.
I got one sitting over there. It's just a box of sticks.
So, and I would dope and cover. I'd build the little, the formers and the stringers, and then I'd cover them with dope and paper, and then I got into the monocoat stuff and all that and model everything. So I've built all of that stuff before. And the problem today that we have is with all these Chinese, prefabricated airplanes. We're spoiled. The plane's painted, everything's
Pull it
in
out
it,
of the box and go.
Honestly. And that's the thing is everybody expects that probably too much, because you still got to check it out. I mean, it is an assembly line, and they can screw things up on an assembly line. Not that they're supposed to, not that there's an excuse for it, but it does happen. You got to thoroughly check out the model and check all the connections and pre-flight. So there are some planes you can take out of the box and just go fly them, but you probably shouldn't, know. Because you're hurling this thing up into the air at 100 miles an hour or whatever.
So we have.
I used to build.
I was just going to say we have two questions, and I was just going to ask you them real quick. One was from Papa Boozer, and it said, "You honed, and how do you decide what to keep them?" And the other one that went with it was Lori just scrolled up past it. Hang on. Rich, what is the best plane you've ever flown? If I had to guess, you probably still own whatever your favorite airplane is.
Yeah, I have like 3 or 4 of them.
Well, let's go into that a little bit. So how do you decide which ones to keep, and how do you decide what's your favorite?
Oh, you mean of like the models that I'm testing out and doing videos? Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I've always done a lot of FMS stuff because they're like a really good group. I mean, they're just cool people to work with and stuff, and they make great models. I mean, everybody makes most places make great models nowadays, but when they send me something to demo, test fly, find problems, that kind of thing with, I usually keep it and take it to the air shows a lot.
Right.
So, but, they're working more with Horizon now, so that's a little bit out of the, I don't do as much of that. But I mostly keep planes that, that I like. And if somebody sends me something to demo or test fly or find problems, do R&D on or something, I usually will keep it for a while. In fact, I probably have, I don't know, 80, 100 airplanes in my house right now. I mean, this is like, and that's the benefit of getting divorced. You can do that. So,
Laura, you didn't hear that.
I'm not necessarily recommending that. But, when I was married, it was harder to do stuff like this. You know what I mean? So, and have
or find one that puts up with you.
Yeah, and I found my girlfriend. I told her, I said, this is not a fad. Okay, this is what I do. She's like, yeah, that's cool. Amy was always cool with everything I did. She's like, no, I get it. That's why she goes to air shows. She loves all that kind of stuff with me. But it's keeping airplanes is I keep what I think I can, help with the manufacturer to demo something that looks good, something that, like for example, way back in the beginning, and I can kind of say this now. FMS, many years back, they made that 980 millimeter series of planes, which started with the P-47 Thunderbolt, the P-40 Warhawk, the Ki-61, and what was the other one? The P-39 Airacobra. Those planes were awesome, mostly if you were on pavement, but because they were so small, they would flip over on grass. So I really didn't take them to any of the major events where there was grass, because I couldn't really demo them. The P-39 Airacobra was the exception. All those planes did 80, 90, 100 miles an hour. They were awesome. It's just that they were a little small for grass, but I still prefer a bigger airplane. And I'll tell everybody this, and somebody said, what's your favorite plane, I think?
Yeah, that was what the question was. What was your favorite plane?
And I tell everybody the same story, the same thing. When they see me at air shows or events, and I bring 15 to 20 of my own, all these airplanes to demo and show off, if I could have only one airplane, it would be that one, the F7F.
Oh, the FMS Tiger Cat. Yeah, you've told me that before too.
the FMS F7F Tiger Cat, and it was like 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago. I told them, I said, you need to build that airplane. The only problem with it is it's not that well known. It's not like a P-38 Lightning or something like that where everybody knows what it is. But the Tiger Cat was like the pinnacle of twin-engine technology at the time. It was faster than a P-38. It was just awesome. It was 4,200 horsepower, single-seat fighter plane. But I told FMS, you've got to build it big, fast, powerful, make it bigger, faster, stronger, more powerful, make it better in every way, or just don't make it. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I tried to convince them to do it. I said, it's too expensive. That was back when the Chinese were very concerned really with cost. They usually always are. But they were like, it's too big, it's too expensive, nobody will buy it. And I go, I tell you, you build that thing and you do it right, people will want that airplane.
And I do say that one has some awesome retracts on it too.
I tell you, they hit it out of the park. And here's the thing about the Tiger Cat. It's a conventional, fuselage, wing, and tail. It doesn't have anything crazy. It's got 2 engines. It has tricycle landing gear. But like you said, the landing gear is all aluminum. It's articulating. It looks scale. It's probably almost better landing gear than almost anything you'll find at the main line at Joe Nall. I mean, it's that good a landing gear. It has compression struts. But the thing is the airplane's very easy to handle on the ground. It has 4 flaps, so you can take off and fly it nice and slow. It's got a big dihedral. It flies around like a training airplane. It's very easy, very docile. But it has tons of power if you want to get aggressive. I mean, it's a fighter. It wasn't a bomber. It was meant to shoot planes. So it maneuvers so aggressively. So it has a very wide envelope. It's not the fastest airplane out there. I don't know. Top speed on it is probably
80 maybe.
70 or 80, yeah. I was going to say maybe 70 or 80 tops. But it's
I've seen guys that'll go faster with it by changing the props and doing the upgraded motors on it. But
you could do a little of that, but there's and I hate to point this out a little bit. There's 2 of them on the market. Right. There is the Flightline airplane and there is the FMS. They both are very good airplanes. I've flown them both.
I have them.
Won't go.
I do too. I have 2 of them.
You do?
2 of the Motion airplanes, and I love them.
You won't go wrong with either one of them. But the FMS version is the deluxe Cadillac.
It comes with the scale rivets out of the box, the nice beefy upgraded retracts. But the other thing I would say is it comes down to also money. How much money are you willing to spend on the airplane?
And that's the thing. For $300 or $350,
it's like $329, I think, for the Flightline.
It's awesome. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. But the deluxe one and the powerful one is the FMS.
And the FMS is what, 5?
I think it's $550.
Yeah, and it's like you said. If that's really your plane, and you know that this is you're a guy that buys 3 or 4 planes, not 50 of them like we do, that have just gone full blown on it. But if you're one of those guys that's like, man, that plane is the one, that's it, man, you're not going to go wrong spending $500 buying that FMS Tiger Cat. I agree, it is gorgeous. They did it's phenomenal. It's one of the best looking foamies I've ever seen.
When you fly it, you'll understand why, because it's pleasurable to fly. It's not hard to fly. It'll slow down to a crawl. I mean, I always do a demo. When I demo the airplane, I fly it inverted. I'll do steep turns out front. I'll do a landing intentionally and stop the airplane. I'll put full flaps down, and then I'll firewall it on the runway. I'll roll about 5 feet, maybe 10 feet tops, and I'll nose the airplane up vertical, and it will just climb out vertical. You can't do that with too many planes, especially warbirds. It has tons and tons.
And you got the
counter-rotating
props. Those are helping.
I'm gonna put the mic down.
Okay.
For a second here.
Okay. I can hear myself right now. Sorry, echo.
There's the version 2 on the ground, the new one that came out. It's almost the same airplane. They made a few tiny changes. Mostly they improved the wing connectors. They made a little bit better wing connector. Even though my wing connectors, I don't think you still hear me. My wing connectors were fine, but that's the version 2 right down there.
They have the best landing gear on that kit. I mean, it's scale and phenomenal on that airplane.
But the thing is almost anybody can fly it. Like the guy here. Hang on, let me put this down for 1 second.
We're going for a ride.
But like the guy that was asking about planes that are easy or hard, the guy with the jets or whatever that just asked us that question a while back. This plane, the Tiger Cat was a plane that came out right before the jet age.
I'm going to get a lot of people that are getting mad at me over this, but if I could choose between the F-14 or the Tiger Cat, I'd buy the FMS Tiger Cat over the F-14 right now if it were up to me right now. They're about the same amount of money. Well, it's a different thing, but I know that Tiger Cat is going to be one of those ones that I'm going to want to take to the field all the time.
Oh, yeah, and it handles the wind well. That's the thing. Well, it's kind of interesting since you mentioned both those planes, and I love the Tomcat, but I'm on the same boat. As much as I love the Tomcat, if I could choose only one, it would be the Tiger Cat, just because it's more fun to fly. You can fly it on grass. It's got big wheels.
It's bigger, too.
But the thing is I don't know if you knew. I don't know if you know this or anybody knows this. This is some interesting trivia, but the Tiger Cat was actually given the name Tomcat. That was the first name that was given. So it was intended to really be the first. That was the original Tomcat. It's just that the War Department rejected that name because it was too suggestive of a name at the time. Because Tomcat means, a male cat that dominates everything. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what it meant. So it got rejected, and then Tiger Cat was the second name that they gave it. So, and because it was felt that the airplane, given the speed and power, maneuverability of it, that it would pretty much prevail or dominate anything it went up against.
Right.
So, but it's interesting. Both that was really was the Tiger Cat was the original Tomcat. That's the plane. And then later, when the F-14 got that name, I think there were 3 admirals in the Navy that all had the name Tom. So they petitioned to have the Tomcat give that name, like it was named after them or something like that. So
interesting. Hey, we love the history here on the Mary Boozers channel. Everybody knows that. We love that kind of stuff. Trivia is a fun thing here.
Yeah.
Never forget the past.
But anyway, let me see if I can. I'm going to try and switch my camera here real quick.
If I could choose one right now, it's so hard to always say that. Everybody always asks me, Wes, if you could only buy one, what's your favorite? What would you have? A lot of people are going to think I'm crazy, but I think I'd have a Flexjet if I could only have one right now.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Those look like they're nice flying planes.
Oh, man. Have you not flown one yet?
No, I hadn't, but they look real nice. Yeah.
Nothing. I haven't flown anything that flies like a Flexjet. They're not a pretty airplane. Don't get me wrong. It's not a scale airplane, nothing like that. But if you want something that is just a ball to fly, I mean, I can wheelie it all the way down the runway when I land it.
Here.
There you go. He's got his Tiger Cat shirt on.
See the shirt? Look at that. See?
I guess he does like them, huh?
I got that at Amazon, baby.
Yeah. No, but for real, if I could only have one airplane right now, I'd be a Flexjet. That's what I'd buy. I love that airplane. The Aura stabilizer on it there's just something about it. It just flies so good.
Yeah, it's well, and that's the thing is that's Kike and Flex and Dave Ribby, all those guys, their whole thing is sport models.
Yeah, all they care about is making it fly as good as they can. They don't care what it looks like.
And pretty much everything, I think pretty much everything they have has a flight stabilizer in it. Maybe not everything.
Does. Yeah, everything's got that Aura system in it.
Like when you see my videos, like everything of my videos, I have no stabilizers. I don't have any in any airplanes. I just manually hand fly the plane. I just don't. In the few cases in the past where I've had a stabilizer, I put one in, the plane crashes, and I'm like, I just don't know if it was the stabilizer or if it was something else. So I just leave it out. Now this Starfighter I got here, it comes with a stabilizer. I might leave it in there.
Which stabilizer does it have in it?
It has it actually has a Sebart stabilizer because Sebart Freewing kind of designed.
I didn't know that they even had a gyro in that airplane from the factory.
It's a little flight stabilizer way in the nose. The wires go all the way to the nose and then they go all the way back. So it's kind of, so I may or may not. Now Chris Champion, my buddy there, he was flying it the other day and he said the stabilizer was making it twitch and he couldn't reduce the gain to slow it down. So he just disconnected it and the plane flew rock solid without the stabilizer. Yeah. So, and Alpha told me too, when he flies his Starfighter, he doesn't have a stabilizer in his either. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe I ought to just take it out, So
I really like a stabilizer when I'm landing and it's crosswind. But other than that, I really don't use them either. Especially on a jet, they go so darn fast that the gyro always gets the little bit of a to it when you get going fast. So normally I turn them off, and if it's crosswind or whatever, I'll land with it on that. I don't need one; it's just a comfort of life thing. Is all I like. But I always set them up to where I can turn them off. So if the plane does something goofy, I just reach down and go boop and turn it off.
Yeah. It's and I may start using some of them here from time to time. And I have one airplane I have that the wings rock, and it kind of gets into like a Dutch roll thing. And I got a stabilizer for it. I just haven't got around to putting it in there because that plane I couldn't, every time you'd pulse the ailerons or the rudder, it would just start a little oscillation. I'm thinking, man, stabilizer would clear all that up just because it's annoying to watch, So there's a lot of reasons for it. If you live in a windy area, I've seen guys fly who are older. I put my glasses down on my desk and it started going up. Like I've seen, you got to watch the touch screen, touch button. So, but I've seen some guys fly who, kind of guys that are a little older, and their hands are shaking a bit, and I'm watching the airplane, and the airplane's rock solid. And I look at the controls, and their hands are, just kind of shaking because they have a little bit of a nervous system issue or something like that. And that's a good reason to have one. You know what I mean? If it helps you fly the plane better, or you live in a windy condition, or, by all means, use it. I just personally just don't use them because I don't need to. I don't. That's all. So,
my thing with gyros is if it helps the guy fly and enjoy the hobby, use it.
Yeah.
You'll never hear me saying, "Oh, the gyro, you can't fly without it." I hate that. I hate it when people say that.
Now, here's the thing. Here's my philosophy on that.
Now AS3X, that's a little overkill gyro. If you can't fly without that, start practicing a little more.
What I tell people is the way I disagree with that a little bit is I always tell people, like when they're learning to fly, I say you don't need that shit. You don't need any of that stuff. Just get a good instructor, get a good high wing trainer type plane, and learn to fly it without that stuff. You don't really need that.
And I never had one starting out, and it made me a better pilot not to have it. And now I enjoy having one and I can tell what it's doing.
And that's the problem is sometimes you can't tell what the plane is doing. Or what the wind is doing, or what's going on. And if you just learn to fly, because the thing is model airplanes today fly so well. They're so stable. In fact, one of my favorite training planes is the FMS Super Easy. It's a high wing trainer type plane. It's a tail dragger, but you can do aerobatics with it. You can fly it inverted, you can loop it, and you can roll it. You can kind of progress with it. It's not that particularly fast of a plane, but it really doesn't need a flight stabilizer. And even the Wright brothers, when they first flew, I forgot which one, Orville Wheeler, he's like, you need to feel what the air is doing to you. You need to kind of have that, see what that feedback is and respond to it instead of the machine doing it for you. And I think personally for me, I think it's just better for people to learn that way. And then once you learn, and then there's stabilizers, you get different planes, you want to start putting them in there, then start putting them in there. But I think to me, it masks too much. You know what I mean? So, and I was a flight instructor. I mean, I taught guys to fly in full-scale airplanes. I mean, I taught guys from China. I taught guys from Austria. I trained pilots from all over the world. So I'm sitting in an airplane with another guy, and he's flying, and I'm correcting him, or I'm showing him things and teaching him things, and then we didn't have any autopilots. When you're learning to fly, like I flew mostly Piper stuff, Piper Cherokees and Seminoles and stuff. There's no autopilots. There's no flight stabilizers. You have to trim the airplane. Nowadays, when you fly like an airliner, like we trim and everything, but even the guys flying Airbuses, if a guy's flying an automated Airbus, apparently I haven't flown one yet, but I mean, they have automated trims. You don't even trim the airplane anymore. It just does for you. And that's weird to me. And I hear a lot of guys that go from flying like a Boeing to an Airbus. It's weird because they're like, where's the trim wheel, or where's the trim knob, or whatever. There isn't one. You just, it just does it for you. So I just think when people are starting out, it's better. I think it's better just to not have one. I mean, I know they use it as a sales tool. Hey, this thing's easy to fly. And it's like, well, who's flying the plane, the stabilizer or you? I mean, you're trying to learn a skill. And to me, it's like very rewarding when you learn to fly the plane and you can say, you know what, I didn't have any help with that. I didn't have any stabilization. I did that myself. And that's something people, can kind of take with them and just say, you know what, I don't need that stuff to fly with it. But again, I wouldn't hesitate to put one on there. And in the future, I may start using a few here or there, but generally I don't. I just think people should learn without it. I think it's, like I said, it just makes you a more skilled pilot. And then you just, you add that stuff in, later on when you want to,
right.
So
I guess,
anyway, that's all.
Real quick, do you mind talking about what you do in real life? I think you've given it away now, but...
Well, I fly for Delta Airlines. I mean, I fly a Boeing 757 and a 767. I've flown the 737, the MD-88. I flew numerous regional jets, Embraer 170s, 145s. I flew E-120 Brasilias, Beech 1900s. I mean, I've flown a lot of different airliners. So that's the day job. And the funny thing is I haven't been doing as many videos lately because I've been working. And when I started RC Informer, I was actually out on a medical leave. I was out of work for 6 years.
Oof.
For a major. I had a heart valve replaced.
Oof.
It was a birth defect, so I had open heart surgery. So while I was out, I ended up getting divorced, which was good. To me, that was like owning a boat. It was the 2 best days of your life. They buy it, they sell it. So when I was done with that, I just said, you know what? I need to apply my mind to something else. I always did RC. I've been doing RC since I've been building model airplanes since I can really remember. But I've been doing RC, and I said, you know what? I'm going to start a channel, and I'm going to kind of say the things I want to say and try and get the hobby going a little bit better and get these foam airplanes going. So while I was out on the medical leave, that's kind of why I started RC Informer stuff. And but anyway, I guess the rest of that is all history. But I flight instructed for a long time. I in fact, it's kind of funny. The first job I ever had, I never waited tables. I didn't do like a normal type. I mean, I did a lot of stuff. I mean, I did do some roofing and some stuff like that. But the first actual like paycheck to paycheck type job I ever had, I worked at a kite store in Ocean City, Maryland. It was called the Kite Loft.
Huh.
And there was a kite store on the boardwalk. It was the largest kite store in the world. They had like a chain of 6 of them. And my job was to fly kites on the beach all day long.
Oh, that's what a terrible job.
I put up displays of kites, and I learned to fly. I already knew how to fly them before I came there, but I flew stunt kites, dual line control kites, quad line kites, and all kinds of stuff.
I did kites for a long time, actually, too. A lot of fun.
And I was out there. I was one of my friend of mine who was way more insane than I was. He had a rig of 3 Flexifoil kites with a big rock climbing harness that he hooked up, and we'd go out together and do it. And he was the master of it. He would go skiing but when the wind would pick up, we would strap. He'd had a rock climbing harness. We put a rock climbing harness, and he would let me ride this thing around. But he had a rock climbing harness with this weightlifting bar, and that was the birth of kite surfing those days. But when we were kite surfing with a weightlifting bar, and we were kite surfing down the beach just with our feet, and we would launch into the air and go, so my first job was flying kites, and then I became a flight instructor after that, sometimes. So, and then it just led to the airlines. So whatever. It just, I always wanted to fly fighter planes. I think fighter planes was like the thing I always wanted to fly in the military, but I wore glasses. So that was kind of out, and I just said, okay, well, still want to fly planes, so I just ended up going to the airline. So and it turned out to be a good thing. So,
that's cool.
I think Delta's one of the best airlines out there. They're great. They take care of all us, and it's good.
Yeah, I like Delta too, actually flying on them, but it's kind of cool. This whole thing is kind of surreal to me. It's funny. I've been watching you and Ryan and everybody for years, and it's so funny getting to sit here and talk to you guys about. I mean, I would have never thought I'd have ever been talking to you and Ryan and everybody else that I talk to on a daily basis. James from Motion RC and all that. It's just, it's funny how this YouTube thing takes off, and it's been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate everybody that's kind of taken us and said, sure, we'll come on the channel and whatever. And I mean, it's just been so much fun doing this. It's kind of cool, and I love that all these guys are kind of going through the same thing. You know, before tonight, they just thought of you as Rich from all the videos that they've ever seen, but now they're getting to see you're a real person. There's your, it's just kind of cool talking about all this stuff. So, I mean, it's crazy. I love it.
Yeah, I try to keep everything as real as I can. Like, I mean, there's nothing, everything I do, all the videos I make, it's not fictitious. Everything I do, I mean, sometimes in the earlier videos, things were a little more scripted because I was trying to keep, more control of things, or keep things, I was trying to keep things polished and make a quality video, because quality is really the thing that kind of drives me in the videos, is to give good information, correct information, and keep it as real as I can. Because I've gotten busy now, I've gotten back to work. I went back to work like 3 years ago. That's why I haven't had so many videos out, because I've been so busy at work that RC has become more sidelined than it was before. I had a lot of time, before, to do all this stuff while I was out on the medical leave. But since I've gotten back to work, I have a lot less time to do it. But again, I try to keep everything real. I changed the format of my videos a lot lately, because, as you probably know, videos are time-consuming.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're editing them. So, I got to a point where, and I remember in the early Motion RC videos, in fact, Mark at Motion RC, I was talking with him December last year or something, and he goes, I think you were the pioneer, he said, of just putting the airplane on the ground and talking about it, and then going and flying it without stopping, and then landing, and then talking about it, and it was not cut. There wasn't an edit to it. He said the first video I think you did that with, particularly the flight portion, the taxi out, take off, doing all the maneuvers, and then landing without editing it. The first one I did, I think, that he mentioned was the Corsair video, because I did the FMS Corsair for them, that video, a long time ago, and that was one of the better, I think, videos that we made. But I've changed my format because, and the reason for it is because I used to have it very polished. I would kind of design the video. I'd have stuff in the beginning, I'd have stuff in the end, and the middle I would splice. I'd have music, but now it's like I don't have time for that. We're putting the airplane on the ground, first flight, and we're going and we're flying it. We're going to film it taking off. I'm going to do all these maneuvers. We're going to land it, and that's going to be the end of it. That way, I don't have to edit any of that stuff. I just put it in there. So I started making uncut videos because I was like, okay, well, that's actually a little more realistic, because people get to see the actual flight time of the airplane. If I make a couple blunders here and there, they get to see that too. So let's just leave it like that. But the real reason is I just didn't have any time to edit. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to sit at a computer nowadays. That's why that Tomcat video took so long. But that was a lot of real hands-on stuff. That's one of the few videos I've made in a long time where I actually have done a lot of work to it, because airplanes don't need it anymore. You know what I mean? Most planes don't need redesigning, and that Tomcat really doesn't either. It's just that to operate it on grass, where I usually fly at, I needed to.
Yeah, you were worried about tearing the bottom of it out. It's rough out there.
I wanted to make it stronger and then show everybody how to do it, and I was kind of, crossing my fingers, hoping that, the factory might pick up on it and improve the plane a little bit. It's hard to do that, like I said, because costs go through the roof when they retool or redesign something. So it gets very expensive for them to do it, and I get that. So. But now everybody has at least one way of doing it that works, So, but anyway, so that's it. That's kind of my sort of history with RC Informer and all that stuff. But I've always been building models and things. Like I said, I started with helicopters.
So, how long have you been the RC Informer now? I know you've been doing it forever. It feels like.
I think it was 2010 or 2011. And when I was trying to come up with names for it, I think the only guy out there really doing it was, there was Pete at Banana Hobby, but he was just selling planes, he was an employee there. And then I think there were maybe a couple other groups. There's that X-Jet guy, Bruce.
He's been around forever.
He's been around like forever, and man, his stuff is so intense. I started listening to a minute or two. I'm like, you know what? I'm overloaded already. It's too much engineering and stuff, He just kind of, but he's popular. People love that stuff.
I watched X-Jet, yeah.
But it was like
he's a great politician lately.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, that's with all the drones and all that other stuff. It's kind of that's a whole nother animal.
Oh,
we all have to. I mean, the drone thing has, I mean, I don't have anything against drones. People think, when they just see me online, like, oh, you're a drone hater, you're a drone. No, I don't hold drones. It's just that, the reality of it is that, the invention of the drone has sort of destroyed model aviation. That's just the reality of it. I mean, you may not like it, and these guys who are, I mean, early on when drones were created, they came out, the technology of drones and the capability of drones far exceeded the judgment of the users. You know what I mean? And guys were flying them in places. You've seen the videos, I'm sure. Guys were flying drones all over the place. They're up at 10,000 feet, or they're in controlled airspace. An airplane goes by, and of course they got cameras, so there's privacy issues and national security and all stuff. So in the FAA, the way the FAA does things, not necessarily the way they probably should be doing some things, but they lumped everything into one category. I talked to the FAA earlier on, and I actually talked to some of them while they were making some of these rules. I said, look, don't destroy model airplanes, okay? They're line of sight vehicles that, we fly for sport, and there's nothing, but so let's not, paint it all with a broad brush, and that's exactly what they did. They just said everything is a UAS, an unmanned aerial system. And that's like, well, guys, there's a difference, and they don't seem to
care.
They don't understand, maybe, yeah.
Why get money from only one person when you can get it from everybody?
I think there's a lot of lobbying power associated
I'm just saying.
with drones where there isn't any with model airplanes. You know what I mean? And they just said everything's a UAS, and it's like, well, guys, there's a difference between. And I told them, I said, just make it simple. Just divide everything into two categories. That's it. One is autonomous vehicles that can fly beyond visual range by themselves, and then there's non-autonomous, vehicles that you need to see to fly, line of sight. There's nothing to. If you could just break it up into those two, you'd make your life a whole lot easier. Because anything that can fly autonomously by itself beyond visual range, yeah, I mean, you need to have license, insurance, and all that stuff for that. It's kind of like if a guy is tiling your bathroom floor and he nicks a pipe and goes to lunch and your whole house floods, he's got to have insurance for that. So, if a guy's flying a drone, you see realtors all the time. Realtor gets out of his car, opens the trunk, pulls a drone out, takes off, flies over, does video of the house, and that's how he helps sell the house. When they replaced my roof a while back, they had a guy came with a drone, the insurance adjuster. He flew over the house. So they have their uses and all that, but still, that's a commercial operations. They need to have license and insurance and registration for all that. But a guy out there like me or you or whatever, we're out there flying our Corsair, what, we got to have a registration number for that? Are you kidding me? I mean, the FAA has a hard enough time taking care of, the real stuff, where they're not going to come out to the, the Brevard County dump, and make sure that while I'm flying by model airplane in the field to see if I have a sticker on my plane. So I just think they're making too much work for themselves. I think they could have simplified it, but that's just me. I don't know. There's times, and I'll tell guys this. There's times too. I'm on final. I'm at 1,000 feet. I disconnect the autopilot. I've got 200 people in the back of the plane, and we get a call from the tower. Delta, 206, caution, unauthorized drone activity on final at 500 feet. And we're like, oh, great. That's so we're looking out the window, hoping we don't, one doesn't go through the cockpit window or get sucked into an engine or something like that. And because that's real. I mean, those are kind of real dangers of the thing. So, and I told the FAA, I said, look, I fly both. I get it. We need to separate them. But, we don't have any problems flying our full-scale airplanes, with passengers on board, and we never run into the problem of having a P-51 model airplane or a Corsair in front of us. It's a quad drone. It's something that's autonomous flight. That's the stuff you need to look at. But they kind of threw the baby out with the bathwater with all of that. So I remember when I was a kid, I mean, I did model rocketry. We built airplanes. I flew my helicopters in the park. Kids can't do that anymore. They're not allowed to. You can't. There's a park down the road. I tried to go there on a Tuesday many months back. Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to fly a model airplane. They have a pond there and everything. You can fly. But they said you can't do it. They won't let you fly there. I'm like, okay, but they'll let you, because of the lobbying power of drones, they'll let you fly a drone from the remote parking area. And then you can fly it anywhere you want in the park as long as you don't take off and land on the soccer fields. It's like there's nobody there. Well, so that doesn't make any sense because the very thing, the drone that caused the problem, is being allowed to fly. Guys like me with just a regular model airplane line of sight, I'm not allowed to do it because I need the space to take off and land from the soccer field. And there's nobody there on 10 o'clock on Tuesday, you know what I mean? But that's what the FAA has created out of this. And unfortunately, the fact is that's what drones have kind of brought to the hobby, unfortunately. And some municipalities are better than others. Like I live in Orlando.
I couldn't imagine living in the city of Orlando and being an RC guy.
Orlando hates model aviation. They hate model. They don't want anybody flying anything, anywhere. And in fact, we've been trying to get a replacement field for the last 5 years for our club, and we haven't had one. I've been going to other places, and everything is 35 minutes away. And even talking with county commissioners and officials, and giving them presentations and all this other stuff. There was one time I wasn't there when it happened, but my buddy was like, "Look, we gave this huge presentation." Showed the guys flying airplanes. We had video, we had pictures of flying facilities and all this other stuff. And one lady raised her hand and asked a question, and she said, she goes, I don't really understand what you guys do. I find it hard to believe that you guys, you guys are going to, all you do is you take off and you fly around in an oval pattern. I find it hard to believe that's all you do. And I felt like saying, if I had been there, I would have said, have you ever been to the Daytona Motor Speedway? Have you ever been to a high school running track?
Right.
Have you ever been anywhere? Everything is an oval pattern. Have you ever seen the Olympics, for crying out loud? Everything runs in an oval traffic pattern. But unfortunately, the vision of a lot of these officials, they don't understand it because it's not football. It's not golf. They don't understand. And unfortunately, kids today are doomed. They can't go anywhere and learn this stuff. They can't build an airplane and go fly it. There's very few places. But the county says, you know what? We don't want to give you space, because we always ask for just a space to fly. We always say, hey, we'll build the runway, or we'll mow the grass or do whatever. They won't even give us that, but they'll spend $20 million on a soccer field facility, which there's, if it's 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, you're going to drive past a lot of empty soccer fields where nobody's doing anything. And we're limiting our kids nowadays. We're telling kids that, you know what, there's too much risk involved with building and flying something on your own. So you know what? The limit of what we're going to let you do is you can go to a field and play with a ball. That's it. When I was a kid, I was designing, I was engineering things, but you can't do that. They won't let you do it anymore anywhere. It's crazy. And I'm thinking, I keep saying to myself, man, if they're going to limit it as much as they are limiting it, they ought to at least make a point of designating more facilities for people to go do it, Because, like I said, kids are doomed. Kids don't have a chance to go do this stuff, So anyway,
I'm going to apologize real quick to the guys in there. Yes, I need to blow my nose. I've had a cold for the last 3 days. So sorry, everybody, if you're tired of hearing me sniffle. There you go. Get some of that.
Get some tissues, man.
All right, I'm going to go get some tissues.
Yeah.
We're still good. Yeah. Lori, make him full screen for a minute. Let him talk to everybody some more.
So anyway, that's my rant. Hey, are there any more questions can you put that thing back up and let me see is anybody asking anything?
Yeah.
Since
One sec. She's getting it going. Hang on. There you go. There it is.
Wes is going on a tissue run there. So good thing here in Hagerstown, our commissioner, let's see, what is good old boys? I don't know what that means. See any questions there? Yeah. Somebody says, "What? Rich speaks the truth. There's iron in his words." Yeah, I'm just calling it like I see it, guys. It's just that it's such a great hobby. It kept me off the streets. I didn't drink or smoke or do drugs or anything. I never did any of that stuff. I was always out working on airplanes or doing something or building something. And it's unfortunate kids they just can't do it anymore. Like I said, the federal government, if they're going to limit this stuff, and counties and cities and municipalities are going to limit all this stuff, they ought to designate more places for us to do it, and it's very tough, especially here in the city of Orlando. They don't even want to talk to you, risk management and all these, all the folks that what does this say? Rich,
What year did you start flying?
What year did I start flying, like RC? Oh man, the first time I flew RC was probably when I was like early teens, probably 12 or 13 or something. And then I started flying real stuff in, when was that? I think when I went to college is when I first flew an airplane. So someone's asking about the Unique Models Corsair. I flew the original one. I did videos. That was one of the first early videos I did. It was a really good plane at the time. I think they've made some changes to it, but you just don't hear a lot about Unique Models nowadays. They're not like, for whatever reason, they just haven't been like nobody carries. I don't even know who carries them anymore, but they made some nice stuff. Someone says, love your videos, bro. That's cool. Thanks for watching. I put as much effort into them as I can. Where did you meet your girlfriend, Rich? The beautiful, beautiful Miss Amy. Actually, I met her on a dating site. So, yeah, like I met her on that Plenty of Fish dating site probably, like 4 years ago. So we live together. She lives with me at the house here. So
And you didn't have her come on tonight? Gosh.
No, she can come on. Actually, I told her if she would, but she's like watching TV and stuff. So I told her to put it on downstairs, and if she feels like coming up, maybe I'll call her and see if she'll come up and make. I told her, I said, you could come up and make a guest appearance and say hi to everybody if you want. So, but she's super cool, man. She supports me totally with all this stuff. She loves going to events with me. She's like, when is Knoll in the fall? I really want to go. She loved going to that Joe Knoll last year and stuff. So, yeah, she's awesome, man. She's cool. But yeah, I met her on a dating site. So anyway.
Well, I'm excited for Knoll in the fall. So hopefully y'all are there. I'm trying to see. We're going to find out hopefully this week if Miss Lori is coming with me or not. We're just waiting to hear from her work to see if she can get off for it or not. And if she can, she'll be coming with us.
Oh, hold on a sec. John Graham, still flying the KI-61 you gave me. It's a screamer. I had a contest I ran, a raffle, and I was raffling off the early sample planes that FMS sent me to test fly and do demos. And one of the planes I sent was the KI-61, the early one, which was, it was silver. And then they painted it green, and I only had one silver one. So I did a raffle, and I sent him that plane. I sent the other guy the P-40 Flying Tiger. And I never finished the raffle with the third airplane, which was the, in fact, I have it downstairs. It was the P-39 Aerocobra that was painted green and white. The shamrock on the side. So, and I meant to do that. I just got busy with work and side.
I guess you can give it to me then.
I was raffling 3 planes, and I just did it for. I didn't charge anybody. All they do is go and just register and stuff. In fact, it cost me more money because I had to ship one to London actually for a guy.
Wow!
But he disappeared. He never sent. I told him, I said, the only catch is you guys got to send me a picture of you with the airplane. And this guy here sent me one. What was his name?
John Graham.
John Graham. Yeah, John Graham sent me a picture, and then the other guy, in London, he sent me a picture of the box that he received, and that's all I got. But then he kind of disappeared off the radar. I'm like, man, I really wanted to have that picture so people could see that the plane arrived with somebody in the world. I think it cost me like $160, to send the thing to London, but I didn't care. I was like, all right, I'm going to send them to wherever they go in the world. These planes are going to go, and they were one of a kind. They were one of a kind airplanes. They were the first one from the factory, and then they decided we're going to change the paint color on it. So
that's too cool that you even had those. I'd love to have something like that one day.
I should probably maybe do the other one. Maybe I could do an announcement, raffle it, or give it out.
I think you could just give it to the boozer, but I'm just saying.
Maybe do that at Knoll in the fall.
That'd be really cool.
The green P-39 or P-39 Aerocobra, they ended up making it yellow, and they made it the racing version that was, oh God, what was his name? The Boeing test pilot guy.
It's yellow and black.
Anyway, his race, but the early one was green. I still have it downstairs. It was a nice paint.
That's neat. I always wanted that little KA, I forget what it was, the Japanese plane. It looked cool. Is it? Yeah. You can't see it right now, but the little P-40 is actually hanging up right here in the shop, up on the wall. Okay. And I love the little P-40. It's a little temperamental taking off and landing it, but it flies phenomenal in the air.
Where's the question? What was the worst plane you ever flown?
Ooh, I bet you've had some bad ones.
Yeah, there was this one I got from someplace, and I don't even remember what it was. Well, it was a high wing kind of FPV type plane, and I mean, I just couldn't even get it to fly in a straight line. And I just sent it back, and I said, I didn't even send it back. Well, I could have, but it was too far away. I said, look, I can't really promote this thing. It just flies like garbage, it just was not a good flying.
I bought when we were just getting back into the hobby, and I bet it's the same one. I had a Ranger, is what it was called. I got it off Amazon for like $60.
Wait, was it white and blue?
Yes.
Like it had a high wing? Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was. So
I was
like, I said, I can't show this. This is not.
You'd go to hit the throttle, and the thing would just pitch down wildly.
Yeah, but I could never get it to fly straight or whatever. It just always was kind of, it just never. Anyway, whatever. It wasn't even good for an FPV plane. The thing, it wasn't even good for it wouldn't even. I figured, okay, this is going to be a real stable plane. It's going to fly straight, and it's not going to be something for maneuvering or aerobatics. But it wouldn't even fly straight. That's the thing. I couldn't get it to fly in a straight line. But oh well. Here, what are your thoughts on the Taft Hobby Valkyrie? Captain Photon. I know that guy.
That's Captain Crouton when you're in this chat, just so you know. His name is Crouton.
Why is that?
Because I started calling him that, and now everybody calls him Captain Crouton.
I still have my Valkyrie. I kept it because it's awesome. In fact, that's the airplane I was telling you about with the stabilizer. It probably needs a stabilizer. It just gets into a Dutch roll a little bit. It gets into a little bit of a wing rock. So when you're on final and you pulse the ailerons a little bit, it'll just get into a rock. As long as you know it does that and don't over control it, it does that a bit and probably could use a stabilizer. But I ended up and I did videos of this. I put a JP 90mm 8-cell system in that. And that plane flies like a rocket. If you watch the video's out there on it. I did at least one, maybe two. I did one video with it in stock configuration. It flew great as a 6-cell plane. But when you put the 8-cell in there, it was just a rocket, and it sounded like a turbine-powered plane. In fact, it flew that much faster that I had to change the elevator servo because it was stalling out the stock servo. I'd pull back on the stick, and I was like, oh man, it's not coming out of that dive. And I'd have to slow it down to get the elevator to come back up, so I had to change the tail servo. But the Valkyrie's awesome.
So
Valkyrie's an awesome
Kent was asking me what the plan is with the Storch right now. I guess he didn't see last week's live chat because the Storch has had some issues, and I crashed it and tore up the landing gear pretty bad on it, so I'm having to repair it before we fly it again. That is the answer to that. 12S was great on the Storch, but enough voltage going to my high voltage servos, and after it hit about 40 miles an hour, the elevator quit working.
Yeah, I saw part of it.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Yeah, well, I mean, that kind of stuff happens.
Oh, man, I don't want it to happen, though. I do have a new plane that none of these guys have seen either. Got it this week. I could go grab that real quick and show it to everybody for a sneak peek. And I bet you've even seen one before. Right. Let me go grab it real quick.
Get it, yeah, all right. I'll look at I'll do some questions stuff here. So, what else do we got? Is it top secret what he's bringing out? Let's see, what is there? Sorry, I got to have my old guy glasses on to see this stuff. So, I started wearing these a few years ago. I don't need to toss them around. Let's see, after a few, the flying stray. Thanks for the great answer, Captain Photon. All right, cool. Or Crouton, I guess I'm supposed to say. Let's see. What is that? For fun, I don't. On tossing loss. Has anyone mixed flaperons? No, I haven't done that stuff. There's a lot of stuff on here. I keep trying to put my finger on the screen and scroll that list of people asking stuff, and nothing's happening. Airwolf, what is that? Even GB looks okay after a few buttons.
No, you can stay on him for a minute. Let me get it in the thing here.
Oh, Tex Johnston. Yes, thanks. Somebody, I couldn't remember the name. Tex Johnston. Tex Johnston. He was the one that rolled the 707 at that air show just to show it off. But he was one of the early Boeing test pilots. But he was an air racer, so he raced that.
Where'd they go?
That P-39. How can we contact you for possible show? Just email me. Email me or call me or send me a text via my phone. There is an rcinformer.com website that I set up. There's a lot of stuff there, but I don't do a lot with it. I just set it up so I can do some things. But if you go into the About Us, my business, my phone number is there. So you can get a hold of me there. Or my YouTube, or you can either send me something via YouTube, or you can even email me. My email is just rcinformer.rich@gmail.com. So, but all my contact information is at rcinformer.com. So, or you can always private message me on Facebook or something, or so. But yeah.
Drum roll, please. Here comes the new airplane.
He's got some stuff.
Da-da-da-da. Check it out. Can't even see me right now.
It is.
So it's the Hangar 9 Blue Nose.
Oh wow!
So
okay, cool. Yeah.
Is it
gas?
It's gas. She's ready to fly too. It's all done. I have actually flown it once, but it's coming on the channel, guys. Sorry that y'all haven't seen this one before. This was before all of us. This was actually a really good friend of mine's airplane. He decided he didn't want it anymore, and I was like, I did the maiden flight, and he was like, "Oh, it's too big," and then I'm. Anymore, and he said, "I just want you to have this airplane." I was like, "Okay," so
wow.
It really worked out well, and I had to show everybody it. It's a beautiful model, and the way he did everything on it. So he did a hatch too here. So this is hinged with magnets, so you can get inside of it. And I don't have the top view to be able to show it to you right now, guys, but I mean, he just did a really good job building this airplane. I mean, everything about it is just perfect.
Yeah, it looks nice. It's God, I haven't done a gas or a glow plane in a long time. I used to do glow all the time.
Well, that's what I started on too, was glow. So
yeah, that's what I did. I still got a bunch of glow airplanes. You can't even sell glow airplanes hardly anymore, though. It's hard to.
It's
everybody's gone. A lot of people gone electric, but yeah, that looks nice.
And I do have the mounts. He actually had everything to change it over to electric. So if I decide to go to electric, I could easily put an electric motor on it. With the hatch set up the way it is, with this opening like this, it's going to be real easy to put a battery in the front. I mean, everything about it was done right. It's even all riveted and everything, too. I don't know if I can get it up there to where they can actually see that or not, but everything's already riveted on it. I mean, it's done right. Anyway, beautiful airplane. I don't know if you've ever done any of the Hangar 9 stuff, but they really do some great airplanes.
Yeah. Oh, the Hangar 9 stuff is like some of the best. I mean, even though, I mostly fly, foam airplanes. I mean, the wood stuff does fly a lot better. I mean, the wood stuff, when you fly wood airplanes, you can just tell the difference. But, it comes at a cost. I mean, they're usually, a lot more expensive to get a wood airplane together, so, which, as you know,
right.
I mean, I used to fly a lot of prop jets. I used to fly Cermark, like the Cermark F-16s when they used to make those, but the airplane was $300 or $400, and then I put a Jet 90 motor on it. That was another $400, and then servos and landing. By the time you're done, it was $1,300. So, which is interesting because nowadays you hear somebody there's a like the F-14 or the F-18. I was like $500. I'm not going to pay $500 for a foamy.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well you can pay $1,500 or $2,000 on a fiberglass.
This plane here, sitting here, is about $1,200 as it sets.
Yeah.
With the Metal Gear servos in it and everything that it has, it's all high tech throughout the whole plane. Yeah, it's $1,200 easily.
Yeah, I mean the wood stuff is the best. I mean,
it's beautiful.
If you wood airplanes, they're awesome. It's just that they're expensive. Yeah, they feel better to fly a little bit. When you fly a foam plane, they feel a little rubbery.
The weight and the penetration of a balsa plane is unmatched.
Oh yeah. It's awesome. It's
I've got the wing too. I guess I could grab it real quick if you guys want to see it. Hang on a second.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that'll be good. So,
Lori, it might make me bigger when I come in here to show the wing.
I'm trying to read read as many of these texts as I can, but I don't have I don't have control over it. She's moving it around, and I can kind of see them, so I'm trying to look at some of them. Party at 51s. Where's 51s?
He's at a flying field in Wesley Chapel.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I was reading something about Wesley Johnson. Yeah,
I can't hear you right now, guys, but there's the wing up close. Let's see. I think Lori's
yeah,
trying
that's
to get
cool.
it.
Yeah.
And normally we have our top view that I'd show you this too, but she's trying to make it a little bigger here. Hang on a second.
Yeah, that's cool. Let me see if I can get Amy to make a guest appearance here. Let me see. I send her a text. Let's see. Hey, if you feel like it, come on up and say hi. You have fans. See if she comes up here.
It's kind of big. Sorry, Laura. I'm just gonna wrap the face with it.
What's that? Yeah, that's nice. And now that's how the covering came, huh? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's nice stuff. It's kind of funny how they all have their advantages and disadvantages, you know? Like,
Makes me see it all too. All dotted up already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Like, you know,
scoop, you gotta have your scoop on the TV if you want. It actually,
oh, yeah.
I don't know if I can show this on here somehow. The scoop actually keys in like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's
and
nice.
The guy that built this was phenomenal. You can see the scoop there too.
Oh, wow.
He's actually detailed it out with the little grills and everything.
Oh, yeah.
You can actually see up in there now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I can see.
Super
cool.
excited about it. I'm going to set the wing back down. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. He said penetration. Okay, great. So he's a comedian out there. Let's see. The old version. Let's see. Amy. Everyone wants to see Amy. Hey. So here. Yeah, let's see. We were. Yeah, there she is on my phone there. Yeah, there she is.
All right, are we seeing girlfriend pictures now?
Well, I don't know if she's gonna.
Wait,
She's
I'm
probably
missing the
asleep.
good stuff?
Yeah, you're missing it. Yeah. But anyway. Oh, and yes, I did get her a silver bikini for the Starfighter. So she's gonna have that for the Starfighter. So. Did you catch that?
I just came in on the end of it. I thought I was missing the good stuff.
Oh. I did get her a silver bikini for the Starfighter pictures.
There we go.
So we will be doing that. So we color match and coordinate the bikinis. That's how she has fun doing this stuff. So she loves dressing up and doing things like that, and she's into all that. So I said, all right, let's pick out bikinis you want to match the airplanes and stuff. So we're gonna do something eventually with a British, like one of the like the BAE Hawk and stuff. So we got to find her like a British flag bikini.
There you go.
So
two RAF Randalls right on the front.
Yes, yeah, we're bringing back the pinup here at RC Informer. Yeah. So
Lori's over there like, oh my god.
Right.
I keep telling Lori we need to get her a bikini, and she won't listen to me.
You got the whole nose art thing going. That's what we're doing. We're bringing back all the nose art. Actually, I did put a picture of her on one of my Tiger Cats, so she is on there on one of them.
Oh, this is too much fun. I love it.
It is. Yeah,
so you
cool,
liking
man.
the live chat thing here? This is your first time on a live show, right?
Well, this is this is pretty good. Yeah, it's weird kind of getting used to because I'm looking here and my camera is way down here, where I'm looking here, but it's not. And then my other camera's over there, and so when I have that on, I got to stare. It's weird just staring at a camera.
It is, right? It's kind of weird. You get used to it. So what I've done is I actually have a TV setting right underneath my camera, so I look right at the camera the whole time.
Okay, and I may have to. See, I may have to do that. See, I'm looking at my monitor.
Yep.
And,
well,
but the
I cheat a little bit though. I do have my beautiful assistant off to the side here. Without her, they wouldn't get to see me because she runs the show. I'm just the pretty face for all this, but I mean, without Lori in the background running all this, you've seen it. You've seen what she's doing tonight. He watches this on the whole screen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
If I was having to pay attention to clicking all the buttons and everything, I'd be farting with that instead of talking to you.
That's right. Yeah, you got someone in the chair. Remember on Did you see the last Spider-Man movie? He goes, I could be the guy in the chair. You know, you got somebody you know, the superhero's out doing his stuff, and there's somebody in the chair, you know, talking to him, you know. So yeah, I don't have
Papa
that.
Boozer's over here saying, you want me to paint you a leather girl patch of Amy for your A2 jacket?
Yeah.
If you didn't know, my father makes A2 jacket patches, and he's very... Here, throw me some Papa Girls. Is she safe for work?
Yeah, she's safe for work.
There's one right there. If you haven't seen them before. I can't get it.
I can't. I need to see it
All right,
closer.
hang on.
Is that a?
Hang on.
Wait, I got this.
Here,
have to walk
Lori's
it.
gonna
Yeah,
walk
it's
it
gotta
up
be-
there. If you've never seen him yet, Rich, yeah, he makes A2 jacket patches, but he makes
Okay.
pinup girls too.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah, that'd be cool.
But they're out of leather, so you sew them on a jacket. So, and then
Yeah.
like there's Betty Boozer.
Oh, Betty Boo. Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, that's cool.
But hey, like grab the orange one right there. So what it started as is on an A2 jacket, like our patches here, and like our emblem is on an A2 jacket. They would make these leather patches. You can show them the
Right.
other one too. So like here, this is the Tuskegee Airmen's patches. So the
Oh, okay,
Tuskegee
cool.
Airmen would have that patch in leather on their jackets in the war, and that was actually their
yeah.
squadron patch. And like this one right here, I can't remember who this one is. It says it on the back of it, but
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah.
so a lot of guys have been keeping up with us, and all of our T-shirts that we make, and that tells you all the different squadrons they were on.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Some of these guys, I don't know if they've seen them either, but yeah, these are different squadrons, and he tries to recreate them just like they were.
Okay, yeah, no, that's cool.
And you know, a lot of them, not to say that their art wasn't great, but don't forget this was servicemen making this too.
Oh yeah.
Not
yeah,
everybody
that
was a great artist. That's PD2. A lot of guys know PD2.
Yeah.
Comes on the side of a Mustang.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. All the old nose art stuff is cool. It's just like, you know, I can't do that stuff anymore. It's like not.
It's not PC, yeah.
PC cops are out there, and
Whoa,
it's kind
what did Lori do?
of ruins everything. Yeah, I got.
Gigantic chat. Oh, she fixed it.
There it is. So anyway,
Man, I think we can probably about wrap this up. I've really enjoyed having you on the show tonight, Rich. We'll definitely have you back again.
yeah.
You know, how long we've been on tonight? 2 hours. Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, we'll do it again. Yeah, and I've been thinking about maybe doing this myself. I don't know. I don't know if I.
It's a lot of fun. It just takes a little bit of setting up, and we'll definitely help you with it. We've helped out Ryan and a couple other guys on it. It's interesting getting it going. Once you get it, it's not too bad. But
Do you have a number? Like you see a number on your screen anywhere that shows like how?
yeah,
many
Lori
people,
had one.
like,
We had 70 in here at once, I think. It goes up and down a lot. I've been watching it out of the corner of my eye. I don't know what we're at now. 2 hours in, it's
Right.
probably not as high right now. What's it?
We're at 50 right now.
Right.
50 people right now, and we've been at a solid
Okay, and
50 the whole show.
And then this becomes.
It becomes a permanent video, and people can watch it. Yeah, normally we average at the end of the week 1,500 to 2,000 views by the end of the week with people. You know, it's not for everybody. It's a 2-hour show with guys BSing and talking, but the guys that come every single week, they love it. And then most guys that watch
cool.
us also watch
Yeah.
Ryan on Saturdays,
Yeah, guys-
and they watch us on Sundays.
You do it every
I
Sunday?
do this every Sunday at 8 o'clock, yep. And I'd like to have you on, and maybe we could all talk with Ryan or whoever else, and, you know, we can always do three heads on the screen chatting and hanging out. You know, guys
cool.
like seeing all of us.
We were supposed to chat with James last week about the air show, obviously, but that didn't happen because I had to go fly.
Somebody was
then,
working.
I had to work again. Yeah, so let's. Yeah,
They would have been fun, yeah. And we still had a good chat last week with James. Guys, I hope y'all are still enjoying this as always. We've really been trying to bring you the best shows we can here at the Mary Boozers RC channel. I know I'm the new guy on the block, but we're having a lot of fun, and we're trying to bring all of our fellow RC enthusiasts together, you know? It's so cool to be able to chat with your buddies, you know? Live for everybody to watch, you know?
Yeah, it's all good. Well, it was funny because when I started my YouTube channel, and then I I was out there for, I don't know, maybe a year, putting out videos and stuff. And the first, I really never went to any events or air shows. I just didn't do any of that stuff. And then, the FMS guys were like, hey, how about you go to, what do you feel about going to Seth or, Joe Nall and bring some of the planes and demo them there? And I'm like, and at the time I was like, I can't afford the gas, because it was really bad. I was out of work and everything, and I just said, I can't afford the gas money even to go. And they said, well, we'll cover the gas and the entry fee for you. I said, okay, yeah, I'll go. I got nothing else going on. And then the first show I went to, the first Seth, people would stop me and go, oh, wait a minute. They go, you're the guy from the videos. You're the one that make, so, and I didn't, I was kind of like, oh shit, everybody here knows me. It's like, it was weird because I had not had, any kind of attention at all, because I was just, trying to put out good videos, just trying to give good stuff, and but it didn't dawn on me. It's kind of funny because when you put out a YouTube video, the world can see it.
It's funny. You talking about people coming up to you like that. There's a guy in here every week. His name's Eric Quinn. He was the first person that ever walked up to me. He had a B-17 cockpit. He said, will you sign this for me? And I was like, sure. Yeah. I'm just a normal guy, though. Really? It was the coolest thing, though, and that was at Joe Nall last year, and me, Papa Dots, and Lori all signed it for him. It was pretty surreal experience. I was like, really, you want me to sign your airplane? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've had that happen every once in a long while. So,
yeah.
But anyway, it's man, it's been a fun thing. It's nice going to all these events and flying some stuff here and there, and I'm gonna try and get as many as I can and stuff, and I'll probably see it all in the fall for sure. So
I'll be there the whole week now. James was talking about that last week. I'm actually flying for them, so I'm not bringing any airplanes. I'm gonna just be flying.
Yeah,
for them.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing is, I told him too. I said, hey, I don't think I'm gonna bring as many planes as I usually bring 15 or 20 of my own planes and demo all that stuff and show it off and. So I said, hey, and this last time I was like, I'm just bringing myself. I'm just going to help people out, and can I fly some of your stuff? He's like, yeah, you can come fly that. So I'm going to bring a few of my stuff. For sure, I'll have a Tiger Cat with me, but I'll probably bring two of them. I usually bring a silver and a blue one wherever I go, and then I'll bring whatever else I have that's new that's flying. But I'm going to try and limit it this time to maybe like 6 or 10 planes. You know what I mean? That
it's hard to take them all, and then you're worried about damaging them.
Yeah. And I bring a 20 by 20 canopy when I go, and it's a lot of
stuff.
Yeah,
when I watched, last time he had a booth at Joe Nall. Rich doesn't mess around. Oh, look, you're sending your desk away again.
Yeah, my desk. I put my glasses down on the touch thing. Yeah. So I got to make sure I don't activate the hologram generator, so you don't see any of the top secret stuff I'm working on. But yeah, I usually bring a big tent and all that stuff, but I'm trying to get away from that a little bit, just because it's
a lot of work.
It's just a lot of setup and all that stuff, and I kind of mostly do that on my own. The FMS guys and they help out a little bit, but we just kind of go there more or less on our own to show that stuff off. So, but anyway.
Well, all right, man. I've had a wonderful night tonight. Rich, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. We're going to let you go, and man, thank you again. I can't wait to have you back. Well, when I get my F-104 done and you've got yours done, we'll have to have an F-104 episode to tell everybody how they fly and what we like versus each one of them. That'd be real cool.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, it's I can't wait to get the Starfighter going. It's cool. I'm looking at it right here, and it's in my periphery here.
Yeah, mine's over there in the box still, but we're going to unbox it next week.
Yeah, I tried to switch cameras here for
cameras
1 second. Yeah, I was trying to change. So, yeah, I've been staring at it the whole time, and I've been dying to get it together. I've had it now for probably maybe 2 months now, and I just got to get it glued together because I want to prep it for some future things, because I'm going to do some things to it that probably you guys haven't seen before. So it's gonna be interesting. But I got to get it flying stock first.
Right. You got to fly it on the stock system and show people what it is.
Fly it normal, make sure to it, then I'll start making some changes to it, because I'm going to do some pretty neat stuff with it. At least that's the plan anyway. So, but anyway, hey guys, I want to shout out to all the guys that have watched my videos over the years. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm always trying to put it out
Make
the
it
best
bigger.
quality and the best information that I can. So thanks for watching. And anybody who's out there, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. The more subscribers that we have doing this stuff, it kind of helps us keep things going. I mean, I do monetize my videos just so people can, so I can get a little bit out of it, because everything I do, my whole channel is free. Everything I do is free. Nothing is, so, and that helps us take care of paying for, and Wesley too. I mean, it helps us pay for banners like my trailer and stuff. Like I bought my trailer to haul airplanes around. I bought a lot of that with the money I make from some videos, even though, we don't make a lot. It's just pennies, but it does cover stuff. So.
Right.
No,
we definitely want one too.
Everybody liking, subscribing, commenting on our videos, all that stuff is awesome. That's kind of what drives me and kind of keeps me going when people are really interested in the stuff I do. Some of the stuff I do is a little long-winded and it's a little very detail-oriented, but that's just because the devil is in the details, and it's that attention to detail that really makes a lot of these airplanes fly well. And that's whether it's a model or whether it's a full-scale airplane. It's like attention to detail is really critical on stuff. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and thanks for watching, Wes. Thanks for having me on the show, and we'll do it again. I mean, we'll do it. I'll be around next Sunday too, probably. So if you want to do it then,
we'll see what's up, man. We might have you on again. Who knows?
All right, let me know if I can. Yeah, if I can help out, we'll talk more. So
anyway. We can even get you and one of the other YouTubers on, and we can all kind of BS and talk together. I think guys really enjoy it.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, guys, hang in there, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Rich.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
Hey, guys, I hope y'all really enjoyed the show tonight. Me and Miss Lori have worked hard on getting this new room done once again. Hey, Lori, can you put the chat back up on the screen for me so I can see what everybody's saying? Real quick before we leave, I guess I'll give you a quick hangar tour. I'm going to walk over and grab the camera real quick and just kind of point y'all around the room, give you a sneak peek of the new Boozer hangar. It's not 100% done yet, but I'm just going to give you that as a look around real quick. We're getting lights put in still, so it will be a lot brighter in the future. But I just want to show you kind of what's going on real quick, so give me a second. I'm going to go over here real quick and get the camera and just kind of give you a little bit of a peek. Those of you that have stuck out the whole 2 hours that are curious, let's see, I'm going to loosen this up. All right, so we got the planes up on the wall, and I pointed at the right spot. There you go. So you can see the new hangar is looking really pretty. This is our filming studio now. I got some of the airplanes over here. I haven't had a chance to hang everything up. I'm planning on hanging up my old silver Bonnie up here, and this light's going away. Sorry about that. All right, am I back in the right spot? Close enough?
Yeah, close enough.
All right, I'm going to run back around. Anyway, that's our new shop space, guys. You can tell it's a lot bigger than our old one. Close enough. I missed it a little bit, but that's okay. I'll fix it for the next show.
Close enough.
Yep. Oh, wait, I don't need to wear this anymore. I'm talking to myself. Anyway, guys, I've really enjoyed the show, buddies. I'm so blessed to have my new shop space. We have lots of room now for building. I have a big table out here in front of me. I've got a nice clean workbench behind me. It's awesome. Holy cow, the Fred Baron. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Between you and Dave tonight, y'all are going to make me cry over here. Holy cow. Thank you. Thank you very much for your super chat, the Fred Baron. We appreciate it very much. It makes it all worth it, guys, you know. Those donations like that, they really help us as far as, you know, doing things like building this new shop. This was not cheap to do what we did, and thank you, Miss Lori, for letting me have it. I can't see the chat right now if anything else is going on, but Lori's putting you up on the screen as we try to do for everybody. Anytime anybody super chats us, we try and throw that up on the screen. If y'all haven't noticed that in the past, it's right down here when y'all do a super chat. And if we don't shout you out right away, if we have a guest, but we've got to keep talking to our guests at the time and finish what we're talking about. But thank you again, and thank you, Dave's RC, if you're still in here earlier. Man, $50, that's an amazing donation, and we really do appreciate it. Anyway, I think it's time for us to go to sleep. I have been fighting a cold for 3 days now, but I was like, Lori, we're here. We've got to do our live show. We've got to get in there. We were planning on live showing throughout the weekend 2 or 3 times at the show, but since we didn't end up getting to go to the show because of the hurricane coming right now, here we are. And now it might even miss us. We don't know. But you got to prepare for it, and that's why we're here. So thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate everything our community's done. Go out and fly something with your buddies. Like I always said, RC is better with your friends. And look at this. We're bringing all of our RC friends together on the on the channel, the Mary Boozer RC channel. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun, guys. I'm going to bed. The Boozer needs to sleep. So without further ado, let's count it down. 5, 4, 2, 1. Guys, bye.